Closest
Oh
window
yeah,
is
right
so
there.
I pushed it.
Yeah,
Tickle the button.
that feels real good when you push that button, Brick Road.
McDohl, why are 2 seconds into the stream and you're already... Your character's, like, dead. You're not even here, so...
Yeah, you're no longer alive, Hellstar. You have to go home.
9.
Wait, what?
just
Oh
decided-
man, I missed that.
We tried to get him. We tried to kick him from the table by making him kill his character, but he just showed up today, and now he's here to heckle us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm here
I
for.
changed the passwords on the table and everything and didn't tell him, and...
Look, man. Listen, I like butt 6969 is not a good password, Brick Road.
You're right, it's not. That legitimately is my actual password for everything.
Wait, did we just broadcast the password?
Yeah,
You guys,
it's-
wow, you guys.
I actually don't. We don't use the password for the table. I just set it to friends only, don't I?
Yeah,
Wait, we've
you
changed it from McLean's credit card number?
It was for a while. It used to literally just be the text phrase McLean's credit card number. So we would. So then what's the password? Oh yeah, it's McLean's credit card number. We don't use that password anymore.
No, that was like many years ago when McLean was actually playing with us.
We might have been using Mumble
It was-
at that point.
It
That
was,
was
voice
Well, we've
chat.
always used Discord.
it was
Mumble,
Mc-
yeah.
it was McLean's credit card when I started playing.
It's always been Discord. This is basically the reason I started using Discord.
Yeah, but the first we didn't start using Discord for Flumph until partway through the second campaign.
Yeah, that's true.
We all used to connect to
What was
Mumble.
the first campaign?
I don't even remember Mumble.
Yeah, apparently I completely spaced on this one.
This was 2014 and 2015, so if you don't remember, then I don't blame you.
Ventrilo, all those.
I've
Crazy
used
ways.
all
I
of
think-
it.
I
TeamSpeak.
think everybody sounds okay.
Excellent, thank you.
TeamSpeak. Ventrilo, Mumble. I've used all of it.
It's all universally bad.
I thought Mumble was a good upgrade over TeamSpeak and Ventrilo, and now I don't even know if it exists anymore.
Truthfully,
Skype?
I've
Should we
never
use Skype?
Skype.
God,
I've
no.
used Skype.
Oh,
With the exception of Skype, like legitimately, I have never noticed a difference between any of them. Like the
I had a-
dedicated like voice programs.
I had a job interview, and the requirement was that I had to have a Skype account to connect to the president to like do my formal interview. And God, I will never use Skype again because Skype told me that I could do webcam, and then when I connected to the interview to talk to the president, it popped up an error message saying not enough bandwidth for your webcam. And there was no way I would have known that until I connected to a call. So I didn't get that job.
Nice.
And I was the only finalist. Thanks, Skype.
So
I had to do a thing a few weeks ago where I had to authenticate some kind of credit line to pay for our plumbing issues that we had before the hurricanes. And part of that process was getting on a video call with this woman at, I don't know, the insurance company or whoever it was. My webcam is like a perch on top of a TV screen across the room from me. And so I'm on this video call with her. I've got my green screen behind me, which is just this green wall. And she's like, okay, now what I need you to do is like hold your driver's license up to the camera so we can get a clear screenshot of it. I'm like, okay. So I have to climb on top of my desk and like lean forward with the ID. And the whole time she's looking at me like, why are you doing any of this? What are you doing? Also, I started that call. I hadn't shaved. And like I looked completely disheveled because I didn't know it was going to be a video call until I started the chat with her. She's like, "Oh yeah, we're just going to turn on our webcams." Well, you're going to regret asking me to do that.
Yeah, it sounds like her nightmares, not yours.
We got the plumbing paid for, so I guess it worked out in the end. It all worked out in the end. All right. Who has a 100-word summary of everything that happened last session?
Benny, being the responsible member of the party, failed to prevent our critically useful druid from sacrificing himself.
Rude.
I mean, we got the thing. We got the
got the thing.
MacGuffin.
We got the thing. We broke the thing.
The thing broke itself.
We fixed the thing, and there were consequences.
Yeah, we found the toenail, we brought it back, we killed a bunch of stuff on the way, got some experience, and then yada yada yada. Now we're sitting on the ship looking distraught.
Other notable things that happened was we stopped Cadfile from using his scroll,
Identify scroll.
I'm sure that won't have any consequence.
which was counterspelled and required a roll, which means it was not an identify spell. We don't know what it was, but it was higher than 3rd level.
It was probably legend lore.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, I don't trust that. I believe it was something that would steal the artifact.
Like,
Same. I'll be honest.
you needed because you rolled a 16 and it failed, and then you had to use the bard die or something. I don't know if you remember that,
I don't remember, the
remember
specifics
that.
closely.
but
Sorry.
yeah,
I thought
Yeah,
you
I mean-
succeeded on it, yeah.
Probably
He
like
did.
disintegrate.
yeah. I don't know. I think it was teleport or something like that.
Yeah,
can cast
that's
teleport.
what I suspect. That's what I suspect.
Because you're so
you can teleport in a-
suspicious.
Yes, we're suspicious of the NPC plant that was planted by a pirate lord.
Yeah, literally the only reason Ssah'ra didn't kill him was because he didn't have stat block.
Yeah, you
Which
can't
is why
hit an
you didn't have a
18
stat block.
dash.
Which is why Recruit did not give him a stat
ACM
block.
Why would I give him a
Um,
stat block?
So we could kill him.
Oh, you don't want to kill the NPC, surely.
Didn't you tell us he had like 10 hit points or something?
He didn't have hit points. He had a stat block. I was gonna let him die in the dungeon if you guys just completely disregarded his presence, and then you would have felt bad.
But then,
No, you
but then Nerium had to go
Us-
and make friends.
We're totally gonna like kidnap him in the post game.
And then what happened?
I mean,
Then
gestures.
Ssah'ra came to the rescue, identified it.
Well, we lost Nazirr. He's in the shield now? Question mark.
It's a toenail.
So,
Okay.
how aware of that are we at the present moment? Like, he's not
That
there.
it's a toenail?
obviously.
That's
And
a
that-
toenail.
Like, I think Benedict has the shield.
Benedict
Like,
took
he's
the
picking
shield
it up.
below deck.
Yes.
And so a few minutes after that, Tenacity, Large Tom, and Double Owl would show up wherever Benedict is and insist that he hand the artifact over. You guys typically, remember, aren't allowed to have these artifacts on the boat.
That was actually another question I would have. Like, during any of these scenes, we don't have those abilities, right?
There are certain encounters where I've allowed you to, and then I've been
Okay.
allowing you to commune over like long trips. But
Okay.
this particular artifact, because it's so unstable and because they have this kind of duct tape, this WD-40 magic ritual that they threw together that apparently consumed Nazirr, is keeping the artifact just stable enough that it doesn't go unbound again. But they're not sure you have the magical acumen to keep it that way. So Double Owl wants to keep it down under lock and key.
I mean, at this moment, he's correct about that. Does Benedict, so Benedict probably has like 5 minutes with this item. Do I feel the presence of Nazirr in the item?
No, it's a gross toenail. It's a
Okay,
gross
so
old
I
toenail.
feel nothing other than it's magical and it has an atma, I assume.
You watched it crack in half that unleashed all this unbinding magic. Double Owl and Tenacity were arguing. They did something with a ritual, which they said would bind one of the people on the ship to the artifact. And when that ritual ended and all of the unbinding magic went away, the weather died down, the ship dropped back, gravity went back to normal, Nazirr was no longer standing on deck. That's all you know at this point.
When they find Benedict, he'll be in his room, which I think is M, I want to say. It's somewhere in here. It's Gary and Ronald's room.
Okay.
He's going to be trying to attune to it, and he's obviously not very far.
No, they're not going to allow you to do that. They're going to...
No, they're not. He's going to try to, but when they come in, that's what he will be trying to do.
And when they do, Large Tom is very empathetic, clearly upset by what's happened. He's in a very kind of like, hey buddy kind of mood.
Yeah, and Benny isn't gonna have any of that. He's gonna be like, he's gonna be shouting. He's gonna be crying. He's gonna like, you did this to him. Like,
who did this to him? Who are you accusing?
Tenacity.
Tenacity? Tenacity's standing out of the room in the hallway with her arms crossed over her chest. She just has this unreadable expression. If anything, she looks a little annoyed. Like, sooner he gets over this breakdown, the sooner we can get this thing locked up again.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Tenacity's not present, Benedict will accuse Tenacity by name.
Okay.
And...
No, she's present. She's just not engaging with you at the moment. She's waiting for this to be over so she can do what she needs to do.
And, like, he's just going to be inconsolable. And he's just going to have his hand on the face of the toenail. And, like, just, what do I do now?
Well, right now, Large Tom suggests that you hand over the artifact to Double Al so he can make sure that it's safe. And then he's going, he'll have Midge prepare a sleeping draught for you. So, to help you relax and get a restful sleep. That's what Large Tom suggests. That's what works for him, he says.
So Ben is not going to fight them because he doesn't have the energy to even draw his sword right now.
Okay.
Like, he wants to fight this. He wants to keep this artifact near him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just completely defeated, and he's going to just relinquish it to Tom.
Okay.
And turn his back and not say another word to anybody.
And Tom makes good on his word, and after a few more moments, Tom and Midge show up. And Midge has the prepared sleeping draft so you can relax.
Benny will down it in one swig without even saying anything. And then he just turns back to his thoughts.
Here's the thing about serving on this pirate ship is that Midge and Tom are both good aligned characters, and they offer their heartfelt condolences. Most of these assholes are like neutral or whatever. Some of them are evil. But no, most of the rest of the crew just kind of keeps their distance from you.
They don't have to. Benedict is basically a ghost.
Cool. What about the other three jabronis? What are you doing in the immediate aftermath? So like the hour or so after Nazirr vanishes.
I think Ssah'ra's gonna go find Tom and talk to Tom to try and figure out what the hell happened.
At that point in time,
offering her wizardly advice.
Tom doesn't know what happened, but at that point, he and Al are. At that point, they would be planning to go get the toenail to make sure they can lock it up. Double Al's not sure it can be safe attuned to one of you guys because it's an extremely unstable artifact at the moment. So Tom would be preoccupied with that in the immediate aftermath. What about Nerium and Sahn?
Nerium is just watching the crew. She's not saying anything or talking to anybody. She's just watching everybody.
Who are you watching?
I mean, I guess she'd be most interested in I mean, it is like a general, but I suppose if she had to focus on one person, it would probably be Tenacity.
Tenacity?
She's just kind of, yeah.
Tenacity is frustrated by this, clearly. I mean, she's a woman who always looks like at least a little bit irritated.
Yeah.
As far as you can tell, for Tenacity, like, this is a roadblock she can't afford. This is a speed bump, and she needs everybody to get over it so they can get back to work and secure these artifacts. Like, everybody on this ship knows the risks. They know what you're dealing with. Death is a part of it. But at the same time, she has to juggle the actual, like, emotional trauma of everybody else is going through. She's in a state where she's just kind of waiting for that to be over so she can get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe she's giving off.
So essentially, like, zero remorse. Yes, moving on.
Pretty much. So you're seeing a lot of, especially Large Tom, who, by the way, my wife insists is the worst character name ever, she said. When she barged into the game last week, She's like looking. I had the screen up with all the crew members. She's like, "Why do you have a guy named Tom? That's a terrible name."
Name's Large Tom. His
That's what I
name is
told
Tom
her.
and
I
he's
said
large.
his name's Large Tom. She says, "Why?" It's because he's large. She said, "Stupid." So she doesn't approve.
No taste.
Well,
Right.
she's not playing, so
I guess Phil with an F was fine. No, but Tom is splitting his attention between like getting the artifacts secure and managing tenacity. Like he's got these big bugbear arms, and they're both stretched out in different directions, managing different people's emotions. Captain Eyes is not in evidence. Nobody has seen or heard from him since.
His racial feature. Stretchy arms.
Yeah, well, he's a bugbear.
Yeah.
And that means he can hug more people at once.
Right. Yes. No. That's
Oh, that's the best racial
Yeah.
trait.
that's exactly what he uses it for too.
So if you want to just run down the list over the course of the next couple hours or so, Midge is drinking heavily. That's how she deals with trauma and loss. She's a dwarf, and she's doing the dwarfiest things she can imagine. She's singing bawdy songs to Nazir's memory, and Gary would be taking the opportunity to do that as well. He's very big on, like, live large, be dangerous, leave a beautiful corpse. So that's how they're handling it. Peachberry is just very withdrawn and very despondent. Like, she's afraid she's going to say or do the wrong thing to the wrong person. Phil seems very blasé about it. He always goes through life like, all of this is only kind of real anyway. So Nazirr is still like, out there, man. Isn't he with all of us all the time? That's kind of how Phil is approaching it.
You're just gonna be like, gonna tell him no. He's in the artifact hold.
Rashid is a very religious person, so that's how he's looks at it. Is he's looking at there's a great grand plan for the multiverse. His forefathers put into motion, etc., etc. So unless you are a member of his religion, he wouldn't make much sense to you. Noose seems unaffected. These sorts of things happen, old bean. Buck up, it'll be a better day tomorrow, kind of outlook. And Pantaloons wears underwear on his head. So that's where the rest of the crew is at.
Did he change into his morning underwear?
He did not.
Oh.
Here's a surprising meeting.
Sahn's. Oh,
Go ahead.
Sahn's still got 10 minutes left on his wings. His opinion is, Nazir's not necessarily dead. Like, we talked plenty of things inside these things before. And he flies up to the rigging and starts doing the best he can with what's left. For the 10 minutes he's gotten with his, just starts doing repairs on the ship, keep himself busy.
The main damage to the ship is that this main mast has split and will have to be reset and fortified. That's something you're going to have to do before you can be underway again.
Yeah, so Sahn's been working on the rigging, and he's proficient in wood carving tools, so he's using the time he's got left on his wings to get started on that.
it's a good thing we have a cleric with a men's bill.
She's drunk as hell.
She can.
You don't need to be
snitch the
that
math
sober
later.
to use a cantrip, right?
That's actually her character flaw, is dwarves didn't get crunk. Okay. Benny. Well, I'll
Yes, sir.
solidify the rest of the characters. You guys, these repairs are going to take probably a day or two, which you'll be at sea. And at that point, the toenail and your other artifacts disappear below deck into the memory hole wherever they go, where Double Owl keeps them under lock and key for the safety of the vessel. Ssah'ra, Sahn, and Nerium. Double Owl comes to each of you over the course of the next few days and wants to meet you. Some of you had been in this room before, way down here on the bottom deck of the ship, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Followed the captain there.
Probably.
Yes. This is the room where the Nerium apparatus is in. There's a secret door that goes in there. Double Al, the three of you independently, he comes to you with a whispered invitation. He wants the three of you to meet him there at this particular time of night in a day or so time. And he stresses the importance of not bringing anyone else and also not telling Tenacity or Tom about the meeting. So the three of you get that message from Double Al personally.
Cool, I'll be there.
I don't see why not.
Son?
When does this happen?
Yeah, absolutely.
It hasn't happened for Benny yet.
Right. I actually want to talk to Double L. I have a reason to talk to him.
Well, you're going to, because he's going to visit you with this same invitation, but he doesn't come right out with the invitation. He enters the room, closes the door behind him, uses some kind of weird artificer cantripy kind of device to ensure the two of you aren't overheard. And he asks you whether or not you've gotten any sleep.
And he looks over his shoulder at him and says, whatever Midge brewed up just made me groggy. If you got anything stronger,
He could put you to sleep with magic if you want.
No, he couldn't. Benedict's an elf.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Which is why the sleeping draft didn't work.
NyQuil doesn't work on elves. That's horrible.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
It's the worst. It just makes you hate life. So Benedict's been in this sort of like fugue state for 3 days. Like, not enough to be exhausted, like, because eventually everybody collapses. But like his sleep has been fitful, and he'll describe this to, like, he's had nightmares. He wakes up just like in a cold sweat, shouting Nazir's name.
Okay.
And he doesn't know what to do.
Well, in that case, Double L doesn't have a way to put you to sleep because you're an elf.
Yeah, that's expected.
And he speaks to you in a kind of whispered tone. He says, behind closed doors in the officers' meeting, Tenacity insists you're going to be useless to us now. Are you useless to us?
He hesitates. And he says, he looks over to his bedstand, and there's a knife on his bedstand. And he grabs it and puts it in his hand, and he says, if I were useless to this crew, I don't think I would be here right now.
See, that raises another interesting point. Like, can you commit suicide with a knife if you have over 100 hit points? Nothing only does like a d4 plus 1 damage.
I don't think hit points apply across the neck.
Al nods.
But the response that he has is that, like, the only one he's useless to right now is himself. Like, he couldn't even do this.
He gives an understanding nod. He says, for the time being, if you're useless to yourself, you can still be useful to me. I need sharp eyes, strong shoulders, and feet of fucking steel. Do you have feet of fucking steel still, Benedict?
He hasn't taken off his armor, so by definition...
Literally, he has feet of steel?
No, but... Yeah, he has not taken off his armor. He probably smells terrible. What do you want?
At that point, he tells you where he wants you to meet him. And as far as you know, he's only telling you to meet him there. He doesn't tell you anybody else comes, but he gives you the same advice. Don't bring anybody else, and don't tell the other officers.
I understand.
Be at this place at around midnight tonight.
Before Double L leaves...
Yeah.
I'm actually owed an item that he was constructing.
Oh, okay. Let's see else.
So this is sort of an aside, but like Nazirr and Benedict were making what is it called? Periapt of Health?
Okay.
And I guess Benedict will take that, like if it's done.
It
But
was the
it should be.
Well,
it was
then,
the one that's Constitution 19.
Yeah, I gotta find it.
in that case, Al would also like point out that this object is done. He has it completed. He knows this is something that you and Nazirr were putting, like, doing together. Do you still want it?
He wants it because it is another thing that will remind him of Nazirr.
In that case, you can have the item.
Yeah.
If its completion
Like-
was done, you guys put in the resources and time.
Yeah. I don't remember what it's called. I have to find this.
It's the
And then he's
deprived of
gonna
health.
ask him. Yeah. Let's see here. Constitution.
It's in the DMG. I know what item you're talking about.
Amulet of Health. Well, I'm trying to find it because I
Amulet
have
of
to
Health,
type
yeah.
it in by name in D&D Beyond of Health. Add.
Anything else for Double L?
Yes, actually. So it's been days, I
It's been
assume,
two-
since this
may-
happened.
He would have come to you on like the second day.
Okay. He's gonna ask him, is he in there?
And he shakes his head.
Shakes yes or no.
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 And you can see that he's torn between, like, because his inclination is to like launch into the technical description of what happened, but that description is going to be emotionally devastating for Benedict to hear. So he's kind of
And
like
also,
giving
I
you
don't
the
think he'd
kid's glove.
understand.
He's kind of giving you like the kid's gloves version of it, but the long and the short of it is no. The Atma is neither the body nor the spirit, and you need both of those things present in the same place for the person to exist.
Then what happened to him?
Now,
How
he,
do-
doesn't, he doesn't have an explanation for that either. That's a question for gods and clerics.
Surely if you can bind him or something, you can undo this, right?
And he lets you down gently, but he does let you down. This is it's not reversible with his current knowledge and application of techno magic.
And Benny will just start babbling and pleading, like, please, find a way to undo this.
Which is very awkward, and he begins looking for a way to excise himself from the
That's
conversation.
easy. Benny's gonna just start sobbing, and then Double Owl can leave because he can't read the room.
Question is, does he go to the meeting below decks that night?
I mean, he's not going to get any sleep, so yes.
So Ssah'ra, Sahn, and Nerium arrive at the door, and they see Benedict coming down below decks for the first time in about 2 days. A very thick and heavy fog has rolled over the sea tonight. So even though the mast and the rigging and the sails are now repaired and the ship can be underway, it's a very calm sea with heavy fog. So they're going to stay anchored until tomorrow morning. And yeah, you guys watch as Benedict comes down below deck. It's the first time you've seen him in 2 days.
Benedict does not make eye contact with anybody. He just sort of leans against the wall, crosses his arms, and looks at a corner.
Double L arrives, speaks the command word to open the door into the room with the Arium apparatus. Quickly beckons all four of you into the room.
I thought we were supposed to come alone.
Where is this room? It's like down here, right?
It is room letter beta,
Okay.
up in the front.
I don't think Benny's ever been in this room.
Some of you have, because some of you were on the ship the night where Captain Eyes came down here and you followed him. But I think Nazirr and Benny were preoccupied that night.
We were in the
Yeah, I
brig.
think so.
You guys were locked in the brig, that's right.
Yeah, no, I was locked in the... No, I had to update my hit points on this token. Holy shit! I have a lot of hit points now. Oh my god. Good luck.
All right. Double Al reaches into his cloak. He says, making a big step here. And I think the four of you are the only ones aboard the ship who will understand what I'm doing. If this works, I think we can loosen Tenacity's grip on the captain and on the deceit. If it doesn't work, I rather think that all of us will be keelhauled, removed from the mission, and lose our opportunity forever to bring the deceit back to something like sanity.
Oh, hold on. Are you talking mutiny?
No, he holds his hand up. Absolutely not.
You
But
sure?
also, yes, a little bit.
What do
What's
you
a little-
mean, tenacity?
It's a little mutiny between friends.
What do you mean, tenacity? Benedict's been following tenacity in good faith, and this is just yet another burden.
He
Oh,
explains
What do you mean?
that Tenacity's grip on Captain Eyes has reduced the captain's ability to control the ship. And that for years, several years now, for sure the entire time you guys have been aboard adventuring, as they've been pursuing these legendary artifacts, it so happened that the collection of the artifacts aligned with what was good and plentiful and prosperous for the deceit. A discussion that he and Tenacity had very early in the design stages for this whole endeavor was what would happen if one of the artifacts came unbound, if the Atma was released or somehow came unbound from the artifact, causing the kind of devastation you guys saw. Double Al wanted to put contingencies in place to ensure that that wouldn't happen, or to ensure that they had a backup Atma ready to go in any particular case. Tenacity wanted to skip that step. If this happens, we'll deal with it when it comes. Which didn't sit right with him, and we saw the consequences of that the other night.
And now my husband is lost to us as a result.
He doesn't know what's going to happen when they find this final artifact. When Tenacity locates it, gives the order to go and find it, and collects it.
What is the point of any of this? What's the point of all of this?
You're asking Al personally?
Yeah.
For him, it
seems like
For him, it's intellectual curiosity. He's an artificer. The consequences don't matter to him. Just having all of these items to study and to interact with and to put back together, that to him was the pool of the adventure. And now that we're coming into the final artifact and we're starting to see that there is an actual plan behind it, he's not sure that his blind pursuit of intellectual gratification has been best for the ship.
So Tenacity has not explained to you why they're collecting the artifacts?
The captain believes that a great calamity will befall the world if these artifacts are not collected and used in its defense. That's what the captain believes.
Do you have any idea why the captain believes that?
Because the captain lived through a calamity like this before, when the deceit could fly. It was
Well, if you live through the calamity, then the calamity is not the end of the world, is it?
To hear the captain tell it, the way the captain would explain it is that the end of the world was nigh, the calamity was upon them, but for the heroic efforts of a small group of people, including the crew of the Deceit.
So history repeats itself.
Sounds kind of egotistical.
Well,
No.
Captain Eyes is an elf.
I've heard this before. Like, they were talking about it when I was a child. Like something about rivers of gold. I don't know.
This was only like 120 something years ago. Benny was already an old man by that point. So Benny also, wherever he was in the world, would have
Yeah,
lived
when
through
this reached him, so this would have been before Benedict left on his Benedict's grand adventure before getting enslaved.
Then yeah, you didn't notice. You were in another part of the world, had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Double Al is not sure whether this calamity is coming or not. All of the histories agree, especially this far north, that the calamities are possible, and there are people who are as long-lived as Captain Eyes who have seen it firsthand. There is definitely documented, because at that point in time, people didn't have natural magic use, and now they do in the north and along the ocean. So something definitely happened, for sure. The question is it about to happen again? Or does Tenacity have some own nefarious purpose that she's manipulating the deceit for? Double Owl's not sure. And until about a week ago, he didn't care. And now he does. And he doesn't think anybody else on the ship will understand except the four of you.
What changed?
His argument with Tenacity on the deck, where Double Owl was pointing out this is exactly the situation I said we would find ourselves in, and Tenacity kept blowing him off and not listening. And the callousness of just, let's just perform this ritual that we know, and one of these people will be bound to the artifact in such a way that it won't cause us danger. It affected him in a way that, like, we spent a person to do that. And Tenacity just sees it as the cost of doing business.
Benedict grits his teeth at the when he mentions Nazirr as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like he's about to raise his voice. But then he falls back in line.
And to be fair to the history of the deceit, it's not the first time a person will have been expended in
Nazirr.
such a way.
His name was Nazirr. He wasn't a person.
Phrasing.
He was my husband.
He explains that binding people or spending various aspects of their life force into magical apparatus is a long and storied history throughout the North. There are thousands of these kinds of stories, and the deceit is one of them. At one point, the deceit sailed under power by having a creature like that bound inside of it. It's the way the deceit was able to sail without wind, and it eventually powered the Nerium apparatus. It's also the reason he suggests that Captain Eyes has not repaired it. This is the sticking point for Double L. He was following Captain Eyes on this intellectual pursuit with the understanding that we could repair the apparatus by binding a living thing to it, but that's not something Captain Eyes was willing to do anymore. The other day, Tenacity went around Captain Eyes and did it anyway, and he's not even sure Captain Eyes knows. That's what's changed for him. This thing that he and Captain Eyes once agreed was monstrous and not viable is now just is your reality. It just happened. And the only person who was able to make the call was Tenacity. So to Ssah'ra's question, are you planning mutiny? No, but he thinks he has a way to essentially save the captain from himself. To jolt the captain. What's the question?
You plan to put Tenacity in an artifact. Is that your plan, to try and replace Nazirr with Tenacity?
No. That would be a terrible plan. And also, he's pretty sure Tenacity would kill him.
I mean, I think Tenacity is going to kill you no matter what you try.
Not if this works. And at this point, he reaches into his cloak, and he pulls out a heavy iron flask. He holds up his hand. Tenacity doesn't know that I have this object. And she doesn't know that I've deduced the workings of the Nerium apparatus. I have a full schematic. I had to put it together on my own, which is how I've learned that Captain Eyes has kept it broken on purpose.
Wait, are you gonna put tenacity in the ship?
Again, probably not. That
He says there's already a creature in this flask, which he believes can power the Nerium apparatus.
What?
What kind of creature?
He's not
Like, Saul will
totally
look closer
sure.
at it.
He knows he suggests that there are elemental spirits from the inner planes, but he hasn't been able to deduce the exact nature of such a creature inside of this flask. And his hypothesis is because the creature collected here is not itself an elemental spirit, but rather a servant of one. The details of which they can't know until he opens the flask.
Do you think it'll be mad at us?
is it.
If we're going to
trapped?
bind it to a life of servitude, it'll be furious.
How does
I
this
mean-
relate to tenacity?
How does this relate to tenacity? If we do this and we manage to get this creature, whoever it is, on our side, or if we manage to bind it with magic to our cause, and it agrees to power the Nerium apparatus and sail the clouds once again, I think it will wake the captain out of his stupor, and he will see clearly for the first time in years. Or he won't, and tenacity will have us all thrown off the side of a flying ship.
Can we
Okay.
put tenacity in the vial?
Nobody's putting tenacity in. Why are you focused on this so much?
You really, yeah. I would love to
I
bottle
mean,
that.
anything that doesn't get rid of tenacity is going to result in us getting in trouble.
He agrees.
You know what? Nazirr and Benny have both been in and out of trouble so much this whole time, and Benny's still here.
I'm
And
pretty
Nazirr probably would still be here despite that trouble. So I say go for it.
They haven't
And,
screened
and Sahn
tenacity
raises
directly,
his
though.
hand. Everyone else,
Go for it. What do you mean? Sorry.
open the bottle. Let's
Double
find
L
out.
hands on the bottle.
Oh, I wanted to vote.
I mean, I'll open the bottle.
Well, I mean, you guys can
Yeah,
vote if you
I'll
want.
raise it.
There's 5 of you here.
Yeah. Benny will
Yeah,
raise his
Sahn
hand
votes to
this
open the bottle.
Can I just reach over? Here, let me hold it.
Well, okay,
Don't
let
give
me
it
put it
to-
this way. McDohl, who opens the bottle? I'll ask you.
Oh,
That's up to that. That's honestly, I have no.
Like,
Tell me
opinion
tell
one
me
way or
secretly.
the other.
Send me a DM.
I was gonna say if Sahn hands it over, I was just gonna open the bottle.
I
Yeah.
feel like Sahn
Sahn
would
will open
actually
it. He's
resolve
supposed to
it.
Benny
vote
would
first.
open it too.
Sahn will open it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, if everyone, if 3 or more of us agree to open the bottle, Sahn will open it.
that's
Open the
democracy for
bottle.
you.
That's
Yeah.
That's
democracy.
So, McDohl, what happens after Sahn opens the iron flask?
There's a flash of bright, fiery light, and a wisp of smoke emerges from it and coalesces into a blue dragon man.
Oh, wait a
Draconic
minute.
man.
You didn't say blue dragon man. You gave me a green dragon man.
I did. That's the only one I could find.
Well, yeah, but I could have changed it to a blue dragon.
I mean, it's a
You work with the
It's-
tools you have.
listen. It's a bad palette swap, Brickroad. Like you know that you couldn't run that. The NES couldn't run that versatile a palette. Come on, Brickroad.
Does he have a
Looks
tail?
like looks like the GBA version actually because of the animation.
There's literally a blue dragon in Dragon Quest One.
There is.
Well, shit.
So that's
I
what
fucked
happens.
up.
This dragonborn man coalesces into the room as though appearing from the bottle.
Does he have a tail?
He's dressed in a. He's dressed in a robe of flame motif, and he's got brass jewelry and ornamentation.
Benny looks at the bottle a little bit shocked and says, "Well, I'm glad I didn't try to drink that, thinking it was the sleeping draft I asked you to improve."
And he turns to Sahn, goes down to one knee. How might I serve you, master?
Oh wow. Okay. Well, first of all, can you make the ship fly?
Nay.
And Sahn will point with one of his arms over to the apparatus.
Nay, that is beyond my power.
Okay. Well, stand up. What can you do? That's probably. Let's do this backwards. what can you do for us? Also, and he'll mind like this to Nerium. Wait, this isn't some form of slavery, is it? I'm pretty sure slavery is wrong.
Double L. Our new character's name is Zirral, by the way. If you'd like to introduce yourself. When he says that I can't make the ship fly, Double L interjects. Wait. Double L begins asking questions about your patron, Zirral.
Such magic could be within his power, but he would want something in return for it.
And it becomes pretty clear that he thought he had your patron collapse into this iron flask, not you.
And just so we're on the same page, you're not mad at me for opening it, right?
On the contrary, I'm internally grateful, Master.
How long,
Oh.
how
okay.
long have you been in the
I can work with that.
flask?
I know not how much time has passed since I was bound in there.
Al, where'd you get the flask?
You're asking Al where he got the flask?
Yeah.
He tracked it down and purchased it in the Bridge City about a year ago. Well, less than a year ago, because it would have been sometime after you guys came aboard, which I don't think has quite been a year.
Is the flask itself still magical, or is that it once I open it?
Oh, absolutely.
Is this yours? And it'll hold the flask out towards the Dragon Man.
Indeed, it is mine. Thank you,
And I'll put it into
Master.
your
He
hand.
accepts it. He accepts it.
Well, my name's Sahn, not Master, but it's nice to meet you. And, okay, Al, I think this has not quite worked out correctly.
How do we explain this?
And now you see Al is beginning to look nervous. This is not what he
lie.
expected.
Absolutely 100% we lie.
What? Just say we
Does
found this
the
in the last
Dragon Man
dungeon?
have wings?
He does not.
Okay, so he couldn't have flown here.
No, just say that we found the
Oh,
flask.
Master, I
in the
am
dungeon.
easily capable of flight, just not in the distances that my greater parentage would be capable of.
Why were you in the flask?
So Al, you wanted a big dragon out of this thing. You want to shove a giant blue dragon into the engine. I like that. Can we work on that?
So the
Sounded like
the
you were
question
looking for
here,
an air elemental.
so McDohl, you're gonna have to tell us about your warlock patron, because that's the creature that Al would have studied and thought he was getting in the iron flask. So why don't you tell us who your patron is?
His patron is an Ifriti genie of the elemental plane of fire, and yeah, and basically the way he describes it is through a series of very hilarious and funny events, he failed to perform a task for him, and as punishment, was sealed inside this flask.
So your patron actually
Until-
sealed you in there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Rude.
That's horrible. I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
Meet.
Between you and me, not as sorry as he'll be.
So you're one of those rogue warlocks who wants to go after your patron?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, how would you feel about us tracking down your patron and shoving him in the engine?
This is agreeable, Master.
At that
Look
point,
at Al. Let's
Double
work
Al
on that.
claps his hands together and rubs them and says, "All right, we're in business."
Where is your master?
I know not at the moment.
I'll
but
say that you do know.
If I had a wager, I would say the city of Brass.
Why don't you just show us where he is? Or where you know him to be. So right now you guys are off the coast of the field of Var. You're like out to sea here.
We're like way over here, yeah. I
Yeah.
guess a week would pass.
We missed a line at some point, yeah.
There we go. Cliffs of glass.
Cliffs of Glass. I haven't done anything on the Cliffs of Glass. I wonder if I just have notes from world creation of what those actually are. I think you sailed past. No, you haven't even sailed past them. Okay. So we'll say that the Cliffs of Glass are called that because while sailing by them, you can't make a landing there. These are obsidian cliffs of just volcanic glass covering the whole southern edge of that continent. So it's impossible to make landing there, but there are rumors, mythologies of ancient fire spirits that dwell there and have. In fact, this whole island looks like it could have been created by a super volcano at one point. We have kind of like a caldera that's spilled over.
Yeah.
Birds live up here, so. Okay, Double L is formulating a plan. Here's what we'll do. Tenacity has told me not to allow any of you on away missions to take the toenail into the field for fear that the current Atma bound to it it's not. And he's trying to choose his words very carefully because Benny's standing right there. And he just leaves it at that. She doesn't want anybody taking the toenail into the field. We currently have it safely contained. I'll tell her that the Cliffs of Glass contains the spirit of an old storm giant, which is the Atma we need to bind. You guys have done this before. You guys have went out and got a replacement Atma for a lost one for one of your previous artifacts. And he's going to try the same ruse again to get her to agree to chart a course for the Cliffs of Glass. And then while you're there, you will instead overthrow Ziral's patron. So Ziral can have his revenge or whatever. Bind that patron to the ship to get it to fly again, and then that will wake Captain Eyes out of his stupor. And then he looks around for approval from from it all assembled.
I feel like the last step is a bit of a jump, but otherwise, Sahn gives him a thumbs up.
How many thumbs up?
Yeah, 1.
1 out of 4?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah.
That's not a glowing endorsement.
If we do this, we're keeping your share of any treasure we find.
You're keeping Sahn's treasure?
No, Tom's treasure.
Oh, Tom's not here. You're talking to Double L.
Or Al.
Double L.
Yeah, if we do this, we're keeping any your share of any treasure we find, Al.
No, you're not. Why would you do that? He's not
We're
going
doing
to
this for you.
He says if we pull this off successfully, there will probably be a shakeup in how there will probably be new officers named at the very least.
Hmm.
So he's not sure what's going to happen politically aboard the vessel if you pull this off, but technically not a mutiny, right?
You're not trying to dethrone the captain.
Correct.
Right. It's like
You're backstabbing the first officer. I don't
It's-
think she's going to be
it's
kind about this.
mutiny adjacent.
Mutiny adjacent. So he's going to leave it to you guys to determine, like, what's your explanation for why Ziral is here all of a sudden? Like, who is he? Where did he came from? Is he going to serve aboard the ship? Like, what's that story? You guys had a really hard time hiding Cadfael aboard for a few weeks. And Ziral's a big boy.
Can you become
Alright.
invisible?
No, hold on. I think the best way to handle this situation is to lie to tenacity. Leave that part to me.
Yeah, that sounds like a you job.
To answer your question, Master, no, I can't. But I can disappear
okay.
inside this. I can just disappear inside this, and he holds up the flask.
Huh.
For a
That's a neat trick.
certain amount of time, for a limited amount of time. To
Now,
be perfectly honest, it's quite comfortable in there.
it's like a Pokeball. Oh, wait,
I can show you if you like.
We can't say that. Nintendo has a patent.
That's
Sure, I'll
right.
take a look.
Don't go in there. You might get trapped.
Well, you'll let me out if I get trapped, right?
If you start calling me master, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, obviously.
And Zeral and Sahn vanish in a plume of smoke and go inside the bottle.
Here's the question: is the inside of your bottle furnished better than Sahn's spacious studio?
Absolutely. Cushions, tables.
Sufficient studio.
It is a 40-foot diameter cylinder with 40-foot tall, 40-foot diameter cylinder space that is furnished and yeah.
Oh, this is
And
nice.
if we spend 10 minutes in here, we get the benefits of a short rest.
Son's getting ideas
Very
for
nice.
his even more sufficient studio.
We can go in and like the sufficient studio is just circular now. Still
What
Yeah,
is
just
happening to the bottle while we're in here?
Oh, it drops to the floor.
Yeah, Benedict
Okay,
will pick
so
it up and be
That seems like a downside to using this
Yeah.
to rest.
Well, you'd probably set it down first.
Yeah, and
Right,
then
but that means anyone can walk around and pick us up.
wandering
Yep,
goblins
hide
just
it,
take
hide
it.
Hide it well.
That sounds like a
Oh.
great encounter. You guys come out of the bottle and it's been taken and brought somewhere, like you're up on a shelf.
Yeah.
Now, because the bottle fell to the ground, Benedict would pick it up. Do they actually feel that on the inside? Like, it fell and hit the ground, and then, like, now it's gently jostling. Like, I don't
Actually, no. The only sensory input we get from the inside is auditory. We can hear everything that's going on outside the bottle, but otherwise, no.
Yeah. He just doesn't
How long-
want it to break.
How long can you stay in there?
10 hours.
That would be a really good way to sneak in somewhere. Yeah, that would be a really good adventure. Anyway, maybe next time.
So, Nerium, you're going to cook up a story as to why Zeral is on the ship.
I'm going to essentially just go to Tenacity and basically explain that, like, we are now down a person.
Mhm.
That all the other people are, they're good backup, but they're not like A-team material, right? And she knows a guy, and she can have him here within a few hours.
So you're going to tell her
Basically,
we
yeah.
need a replacement for Nazirr. I'm going to teleport somebody in.
Yes. Like, and I'm just like getting permission first. And I'm
That's
going to
new.
like
That's gonna set her off. She's gonna know something's up.
well, basically, okay, instead of like if Sahn says that, like,
Peach Berry's not good enough. Is that what you're saying?
Well, this is not Benedict saying this, but ask for forgiveness, not for permission.
basically,
It's already
Nancy
done.
doesn't like that.
yeah, like, yeah, I'll go with that route. Basically, I'm going to tell her that I've got somebody that is coming to fill that spot. He'll be here in a little bit. And I was just letting her know.
At which point she's going to ask by what authority you can teleport people onto the ship without her leave.
Well, I figured you would want the muscle, and I am telling you it's happening, right? So it's like I'm asking permission.
You're telling me it's happening?
So like Nerium is like trying to make this seem like this may seem like I'm doing something like messing this up, but Nerium is trying to couch this she's trying to hide behind Tenacity's the chip on Tenacity's she's trying to obfuscate a little bit of what we're doing with the chip on Tenacity's shoulder.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get her to focus on being pissed off at Nerium.
Got it. Give me a deception check.
Yeah. So that she doesn't notice.
Your deception versus her insight. Remember, she's a high-level warlock with big charisma.
Right. That would be a $25.
She asks you, it hadn't occurred to her that they were going to need more muscle. In fact, she rather thought that your guys' whole, do we have enough muscle to do these investigations and recover these artifacts? She thought that you all were doing that assessment, and that's why you didn't take any of the other crew with you when you went to field towards the Field of Var.
Well,
Now are you telling me the opposite?
Nazirr was a very powerful spellcaster.
I'm tired of hearing about Nazirr.
Why? I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to...
Nazirr was headstrong, disloyal, disobedient, insubordinate. He went behind my back at every available opportunity. And quite frankly, looking around the deck, if he had been allowed to continue, I believe he would have turned the rest of them against me. Though Nazir's loss is tragic, I believe the deceit is stronger for it.
Okay.
But
Seems like you're projecting a little bit, but
you accuse her of projecting?
Yeah.
Oh, she doesn't like that at all.
Like I said, part of this is I'm trying to piss her off a little bit.
Oh, no, she's pissed.
Yeah.
You killed that roll.
Yeah. So, I'm like, I mean, like, you want to move on. That's what I'm trying to do. Getting somebody in to get the ball rolling on the next step. Figured you'd be on board with that.
She tells you, she kind of hand waves it. She says, this is Double L's territory anyway. If Al and Tom sign off on this new addition and put his name into our manifest, I trust your judgment. And she's using a collective you, as in, like, the party and the other officers.
Right, because she shouldn't trust Nerium's judgment individually. Probably knows this.
No. In all actuality, probably the only individual character who Tenacity did not trust was Nazirr. Because Nazirr frequently went out of his way to make her life very difficult.
I mean, to be fair, Nerium has made absolutely no trouble on the ship at all the entire campaign.
She also doesn't know that the five of you conspired with this little fairy guy and kept him, like, secret and have this, like, dealing behind her back with one of the old ship officers. She doesn't know any of that. Or at least she hasn't given any indication that she suspects any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, ultimately it'll be Tenacity's decision whether or not this new spellcaster mercenary guy you want to bring aboard. But if you think you need that muscle, if you think you need that extra help, and it's something that no other person on the ship can do, she would only ask that you make sure that this person's loyalties are assured. She would really like somebody at that level of, like, power and spellcasting. She would really like somebody that's easier to keep to bear than Nazirr was. Because Nazirr was on the cusp of uncontrollable.
You don't say.
I'll tell her.
Sorry. Aside.
I'm like, yeah. She says, don't worry. Everything will be great. And I give her the finger guns.
She doesn't know what guns are?
And I'm just going to back up slowly away from her.
Yep. So do you guys...
I like a wise course of action, Tenacity. Always back up slowly.
like she detects, like, rapid movements. Like, if you move slow enough, she can't see you.
It's a T-Rex.
Her warlock patron is a T-Rex.
Tyrant. Yeah.
So how do you guys summon, quote unquote, Zerall to the ship? What does that look like?
I mean,
hopefully, like, under the cover of darkness. Like, nobody sees it. It just happens.
Well, after Nerium talks to Tenacity, the rest of the ship learns about it. because she would speak to the other officers. Double Al would play dumb. Large Tom would be like excited because he wants to meet your guys' new friend. The rest of the party would have to play dumb, and then the other people aboard the ship. This is not the strangest thing they've ever encountered. So after Nerium has that conversation, it will become common knowledge aboard the ship.
What is your character's name again?
Zaral.
All right.
I figure it's just easy to just like have him pop out of the bottle in some back room, and then he walks among us,
Okay.
right? Like they don't need to see the pomp and pageantry.
So
Yeah.
here's the rub. I can only go into that bottle once per day. So when I'm in there, I'm stuck in. I'm stuck in there, or if I come out, I'm stuck out until a day has passed.
I mean, you're in there for 10 hours, right? So like,
Right. But so is
like-
Sahn. But I can kick Sahn out if this is needed.
right.
Why
So
don't
we
we
just
Oh, it seems pretty comfy though. Son will make himself at home on a couch.
why don't we just say we need to pick him up at the Cliffs of Glass?
Because that's like 12, 13 weeks away. Can we keep him hidden that long? No.
Yeah, you guys are
Right, we
offshore
just-
of the field. You're across the ocean from the cliff.
We're right here.
Oh, I just realized I
And-
must not have
yeah,
saved
this
the
is where
line
we
you
need to
guys
go.
drew. I erased a line accidentally.
yeah. it's
Oh,
no.
Nerium's gonna have to get back to it.
So I think what we should do is just go with the suggestion that was mentioned. Like, we tell everybody that his name's Zaral, and he is a blue dragon man. He's good people, and don't
Is
be
he?
alarmed if he just shows up. No, like not even in a little bit, because he's patron to a lawful evil.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's his alignment?
Now, the general populace of adventurers might not know what a warlock is, but the crew of the Deceit definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, unless Ziral wants to make a bunch of checks to deceive the people of the Deceit, to pretend to be some other kind of spellcaster, it's going to be noticeable. So how does Ziral
No,
want to
I have
handle
no
that?
I have no reason to hide what I am.
Okay.
So
And so you're just going to pretend like he teleported out here and Ziral walks among you.
right, yeah, just like he just shows up. Yeah. She just walks out of the bathroom.
Now,
He's freshening up.
this is neither here nor there, but every time somebody says the phrase Blue Dragon in my presence, I hear that boss music.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Me too.
Ever played Blue Dragon?
It's good.
Oh.
It's all right.
It's very Dragon Quest energy.
I don't think you can play it on anything reasonable anymore. I don't think it ever
No.
got released on anything. That's too bad.
Well, that's some butt rock right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know the song. Haven't played it. I do know the song.
I don't think I do.
I am surprised, Treble, that you don't know about Blue Dragon.
I didn't have an Xbox.
Yeah, that surprises me too, because that's a really like Treble kind of game, I think.
Well, I
think
mean,
you would-
I didn't have a 360.
Anyway, Ziral.
Yep.
Hold on, my wife is sending me text messages. Okay.
Demanding your attention.
She's out running errands, and she asked me if I want a Key West mango icy, and I do.
Delicious.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
that sounds great.
Yeah, we got this little icy store opened up, and it's awesome.
Wait, is it just for ices? That can't be.
It's ices and soft serve.
Oh,
But
Is
a
it
lot of
German
it,
ice,
like,
Italian ice?
That's a little more plausible. I was like, entirely. That's their entire market. Like
Are
they
they-
cornered just ices. That
It's mostly ices though. Like their menu board is like 80% icy and like the frozen yogurt and soft serve on the side. And
Now,
some of their
is it
icy flavors are stuff like they've got cookies and cream, icy. Like what? No,
Is
No,
it a
it's
German
like
ice?
fair.
brand? Are they icy brand ices or are they slushies?
I don't know how to answer to that. I don't know the name of the place either.
To be fair, that's fairly sustainable in Florida, where it is 90 bazillion degrees. Year round.
It is. It's middle of November and it's not.
Yeah.
I did a bike ride this morning and I regretted it. So,
I was gonna say down here, even in Southern California, nobody's buying ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, it's just too cold.
To be fair, if it was negative 40 degrees outside, I would still have ice cream because I love it.
Yeah, same.
You just go inside to enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, it becomes even more icy outside.
Zeral.
I can't eat it. It's too cold.
Yes, sir.
Tenacity doesn't pay you much attention. It just learns your name. She introduces you to Benedict, tells you that Benedict's job. Actually, when she addresses Benedict in this way, like when she says this is Benedict's job, she would give him a look to the effect of, are you still capable of performing this job? Because Benny's job on the board is to be the, like, party liaison. Like, he's responsible for the party's actions.
To that, Benedict would shake Sorrel's hand, and he would say, let's go get acquainted elsewhere. And basically gives Tenacity the cold shoulder.
Good. Tenacity is she would appreciate being given the cold shoulder because that means the conversation's over and she doesn't have to deal with you anymore.
That's exactly the same angle that Benedict is approaching from.
Okay.
Ends the conversation. Just get out of it.
Large Tom is extremely excited to have someone else aboard. He's very interested in Zeral's martial prowess. Like, what kind of weapons and armor does Zeral use? What is his kind of combat outlook?
I feel like
I'm mainly a practitioner of magic. My realm of expertise is in the means of casting spells. And to say Tom looks crestfallen would be wrong, but like there is an imbalance aboard the Deceit. The spellcasters have the rest of them outnumbered.
Does he want like a weightlifting bro?
Yeah, he does. I mean, Gary's fine, but
we have 2 fighters. Like, come on, Tom.
but Ssah'ra quit being a fighter and now she's like a wizard or whatever.
She's a nerd now.
Yeah, she's a weird.
Is Sahn the wrong kind of fighter? Is he a dexterity fighter? Tom
Correct.
Yeah, Sahn's a dexterity fighter. He also uses a lot of psionics.
Sahn is
Oh
a
man,
sniper.
that just leaves Benedict.
The only like actual fighters are Tom and Gary.
Yeah.
And
So-
Benedict to a lesser degree.
Obviously, Tom is
I
very
still-
friendly, very
It's still
jovial
magic. but-
towards Zeral, but there's a part of him that was hoping, like, can we just get another guy with a big axe? That'd be cool.
I have this concept of Tom. He's just constantly just like, oh, like he's just that sad little like, at the end of everything. Like he's happy, but
Midge
Slightly depressed crunk.
seems to have a short-term goal of taking it as a personal challenge to craft a brew too strong for the Dragonborn to handle.
I wish
Let me
he'd
take
make
a look
a brew too strong for me to handle.
You're immune to poison. You don't count.
Exactly.
You can't get drunk anyway.
that would be a feat.
Are Dragonborn hard to get drunk?
That's up. I'm gonna leave that up to McDohl. Like what kind of drinking constitution Zeral has.
Probably not the best. If put to him, he'll try, and I would leave it up to a Constitution saving throw whether or not he's able to hold his liquor.
Yeah, let's make
Hey,
that constitution save.
Please
If
don't
only-
kill him
If
immediately.
only you actually were green instead of blue.
Right.
That my friend is a 6.
A 6. So she has her standard dwarven brew, this mug of black beer that she and probably Gary and anybody else who wants to be there that night, off duty, drinking with Zeral to see what he's made of. And halfway through the mug, just I'm picturing Doc Brown.
Nearest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He has
Yeah,
doesn't-
definitely
only-
nearest.
You
Yeah.
had one sip. What? The mug is still full.
What is Nurse's constitution score? Like -8?
He's just gets weepy.
Zeral's is He's got some constitution. It's just not a whole heck of a lot.
So am I gonna have an easier time breaking Zarel's concentration than I did Nazir's?
Maybe, maybe not. I still got advantage to make those checks
Oh, you
because I
just
took
took
an
Warcaster?
invocation for that. So
Oh, a warlock invocation.
yeah, there's a warlock invocation that just gives it. All it does is give you the advantage on concentration.
Okay.
That's pretty nice.
At some point, Zarel, Peachberry, after you're sobered back up again. Let's put it this way: what kind of work can Zarel do on the ship? Like, what kind of workload would he settle into?
Let's see here. He can. Let's look at tool proficiency first. He's got jeweler's tools, which doesn't seem like it has a whole heck of a lot. He's a lot of applicability on a pirate ship.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly,
So, I mean, are you just down scrubbing decks, unskilled labor aboard the vessel?
that's probably where he's at.
And does he act like all like this is above his station or above his pay grade, or does he just settle into the work?
No, actually, he says this is he feels, yep, this is about right.
Is it better or worse than being stuck in a bottle?
It's better than being stuck in a bottle. For
Fair
sure.
enough. Does he have any like bizarre dietary restrictions that are gonna give Benedict problems?
No.
Well, you're all getting summoned food for a while, so.
So tell us about the summoned food then.
Okay, so
FUG, we know this one.
yeah, so because Benedict is basically calling it in and doing like he's quiet quitting. Create food and water is a 3rd level spell, and he could do like 3 of those a day. So rather than spend hours in the kitchen before the crack of dawn for everybody, I mean, he goes down there, realizes that he just doesn't have the heart to do this, summons some food, throws some spices on it to make it like palatable, and then leaves. And so everybody's basically serving themselves, and
Like-
the food is barely tasty. Like,
So like this would have like day 3 of this, Nerium would have looked down at a plate of like boiled magic potatoes.
yeah, like the description of the spell says that the food is bland, and like he's putting almost no effort into this, and this is just what he's doing. Like he does it once a day, and then he goes back to sulking.
Okay.
Somebody get him in line.
Nerium stands up and says, "All right, I'll take care of this." She goes and
Well,
knocks.
before that, I want to talk to Peachberry.
So let me resolve Peachberry's thing with Zarel first, because Peachberry would
Okay.
want to know, like, where is Zarel's magical wheelhouse? Like, what is he bringing to the table in terms of how he can use magic, in terms of, like, ship-to-ship combat, or other useful things that might need to be done, if anything.
Well, as I understand it, ships don't stand up too well to fire. Yes.
So her eyes go wide.
And he points off the side of the ship and detonates a fireball about 150 feet off the off starboard.
And that makes her sad, because she did that at Nazirr and Benny's wedding, and now she's despondent, and she kind of just gives you it triggers the memory, and then she just, oh, okay, that I see, and then she just kind of slinks away, fidgeting, not wanting to engage anymore.
Oh, Peachberry.
You made her sad. Good job. And then what did Benny want to do with Peachberry?
Benny wants to talk to Peachberry and claim Nazir's personal effects.
Which are what?
So Nazirr had a footlocker.
Okay.
Just
So
like
to be clear,
random
anything
stuff
he was
that
wearing or
yeah.
carrying at the moment of the ritual is gone. His weapons,
Yeah.
armor, spell focus, all that stuff.
Okay.
No, this is just like random, like odds and ends, like the skeevy stuff. Let's be honest.
Wow.
That he wants to like keep for himself, so that like it's out of sight, out of mind. for
Whips,
Very
chains,
his-
clamps.
bury his sex toys because there's no body.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the
So,
equivalent of please delete my browser history.
Yeah, but it's not like that, because Benedict is so like out of sorts. Just having things that were Nazir's like is calming in a sense, but But also he wants to talk to Peachberry because Peachberry knew Nazirr better than anybody else other than him.
Yeah.
And like he's getting to the point where like he can't just bottle this up anymore. Like he needs someone to talk to.
But you can bottle it up. You can just get into Zarel's bottle.
Well, I can't put the emotions in the bottle and leave them.
That's true.
And then throw it over the balcony. But no.
Also, it's a flask.
Yeah, there you go. That's so you
It's
can't
bottle
flask up your emotions, right? Like,
Peachberry is
doesn't-
incredibly nervous to speak to Benedict. She has absolutely no idea what to say, just constantly stammering out condolences and asking if there's anything she can do, and clearly not wanting to put any of her own weight on Benedict, because you're right, she did know him probably not better than anyone else on the vessel, because the other party members all knew him really well.
He's gonna sit with her and hold her wing, I guess. Like reach out.
They
and
did.
just, like,
They did bunk. They did.
Yeah.
They did.
they bumped together.
together.
Like,
True.
and he's gonna say he's practically on the verge of sobbing at this point. He's gonna say like, you knew him better than anybody, and how are you holding up?
She insists that she's fine, but she's insisting that because she's trying not to make you feel worse.
And to that, he'll just kind of wryly chuckle and say, we spent so much time together, but there was so much that we didn't. And he spoke really fondly of you, you know.
She asks Benny his opinion on this new warlock that Nerium has brought aboard. Her concern is that Nazirr, his breadth of magic was very wide and varied, and this new guy just is he just here for the explosions?
He showed you the fireball trick, huh?
It's not really a fireball trick, it's a spell. It's like Peachberry can cast it.
But and he'll start, his eyes will tear over for the same reason that Peachberry was probably upset. And he'll say, yeah, I don't know about him. I'm certainly not going to be able to lean on him like I did with Nazirr. I mean, all the way back when we were enslaved, before him and I knew one another, like it was always like that. I'd always depended on him. And
So you have a long, awkward conversation where Peachberry just doesn't know what to say.
yeah, and so Benny will go on. Benny will talk about how in the slave encampment where he met Nazirr and saved his life from the slash across his head that was related to his artifact.
Sure.
And he'll talk about how they didn't get along at first, and that like Benedict was basically a punching bag for Nazirr. Like Nazirr got in fights with everybody, and the only thing that Benedict could do as like pittance for like healing him and then just bringing him into a world of this was just to take it, like to just let him beat the rage out of his system. And even after all of that, like when he began to calm down and like it's created something. Like Benny kind of chuckles and says wryly that like Nazirr once said that it's even slaves of a pecking order, and you've just asserted yourself beneath me. But even just doing that, it formed a bond. Like at that point in the slave camp, like he had somebody in his corner, even if it was a tenuous, unusual circumstance that like bonded them. They had that, and from there it only grew. Like he swore that for that reason, because he gave him Nazirr gave Benedict a way to like continue, like to survive, that he vowed twice to himself to repay his debt to his future husband. And then when they boarded the Deceit, he vowed again to protect him. And now he's at a loss. He doesn't really know what to do because he couldn't protect him. and then everything that they had worked for, their quiet corner in the Covnos that they've been renting out for who knows how long, with a nice sunset so they can watch the stars fill the sky at night together. That's all gone.
All Peachberry can do is point out that what Benedict and Nazirr were working for, in part, was seeing Captain Eyes' mission to completion, which it almost is.
I know. But it's just hard, you know? Like, we came so far.
So here's a question that Peachberry might broach to you, is, because she was not aware that this ritual was happening when it happened. Like, the world was starting to be destroyed all around you as this artifact came unbound. But present at the site of the ritual was just the party, Double Al, and Tenacity. She asks by what she doesn't know how the ritual worked, but she asks by what mechanism, like magical mechanism, was Nazirr selected to be bound in that way? Like, was it just proximity? Was it force of will?
So as a player, I don't actually know if, like, was this literally just an everybody votes out, like the game is paused and a menu pops up and says, who will you sacrifice?
Right.
Or was this like every character had their own like aspirations, and like did Nazirr actually step forward?
In universe,
Benedict doesn't know the answer to that.
From
I don't
Benedict's
know the answer to
perspective, it is an unknown and unknowable question.
Yeah.
But Peachberry is like asked, like, what does Benedict think happened?
In his heart of hearts, at that moment, he thinks Tenacity took him from him.
That's an interesting answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding.
It's a very does Benny tell Peachberry that?
In
When she asks?
confidence? Yeah, I think this is the first person that he would say this to.
Okay. At which point she stammers out something to the effect of, "Oh, well, come on, I don't think that's true," and becomes very uncomfortable with the conversation after that point.
Benedict's gonna pick up the box and say, I don't know. All I can say is that whatever happened there has to be a way to undo it. And if there's not, I don't know what I'll do. And then he leaves.
Okay.
Like, surely the fates can't be so cruel, right? Silence. And he takes his stuff back, and yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So Nerium can come knock on his door now.
Just for the record, the equipment that you get would be his dimensional shackles, a bowl that he was going to use to cast Hero's Feast at some point in the campaign, his bullseye lantern, some oil, scroll of summon elemental, a scroll of revivify, spellcasting foci.
Can you type all these things out, because I can't
Oh,
type
yeah.
this fast?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I will.
Yeah, some of that's actually useful. So like the
Actually,
scroll
I
of Revivify,
think
for
I have
sure.
all of that in the group chat. Give me a minute.
Yeah,
Ssah'ra,
because I'll go and add that to his sheet.
Yeah.
how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
At one point, and I don't remember where this object ended up, but at one point you guys came into possession on, I believe, the yuan-ti Empire ship. You came in possession of a dagger, the design of which was designed to slay elves.
Yeah.
Elf slaying dagger. I want to say
she's
somebody gave this either to Nazirr
Ssah'ra
or
has it.
Ssah'ra.
No,
to slay-
Ssah'ra has this.
Ssah'ra has it.
to slay
yeah.
Benedict.
Yeah.
You've been attuned to this horrible human heart, this pact of Osiris, for like a month now. Communing with it, letting it scream at you. You've used its spellcrafting abilities a few times, which came in clutch.
Yeah.
with the understanding that at one point you would see this ritual coalesce in your mind, that when seen to completion would grant you the benefits of a wish. Your plan was, because Benedict had come under the influence of like some kind of like bizarre magical curse, which aged him. Is that what happened? And then Benny was like,
Yeah.
Ssah'ra can use this wish to reverse it, and in exchange, Benny was going to pledge himself to the Yuan-ti Empire, whatever that means.
Yeah.
So I understood all of that correctly.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I think the circumstances would probably change very
That's what she
quickly.
said she was going to do. But yeah, then Nazirr died, so that's not on the table.
Yeah.
Ssah'ra, you haven't, because you've been attuned to this artifact for so long, you have this innate knowledge that this ritual is supposed to come to you. And you've put considerable time and resources into studying magic, which is definitely not your bailiwick. Like, you've gone way out of your way to try to learn this aspect of the universe that was not something that was part of Ssah'ra's character for a long time, being a fighter. And it's been frustrating because you have a plan. You just need to cast this wish spell. You've got a loyal retainer to the Yuan-ti Empire waiting in the wings as once you provide this service, which you can't do until this ritual comes to you in a dream. And it just doesn't for days and days and days. Until... What's your question?
So with regards to the whole ritual and the wish thing, is it that you have to know what the wish is going to be and then the ritual depends on that wish? Or is it you have a ritual to make a wish and then you can make whatever wish you want?
The latter. The idea is once you have the ritual, once it comes to you and you know what you need to do, you perform the ritual and then you can wish for... You can use the wish spell in any of its forms.
Okay, yeah. So Ssah'ra could give Nerium a pair of waterproof socks.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you could also just craft waterproof socks. Like, that seems like a very low-level magic item that I would just let you guys craft using the Xanathar's rules.
I didn't realize you were just going to drop it like that. We've been talking about these Gore-Tex socks. These Gore-Tex socks for Nerium all week.
Nerium has asked Double Al for this constantly, and he's told her it's not possible.
See, I assumed that Nerium wouldn't pursue socks like that because if she had waterproof socks, now she doesn't have something to bitch about.
There's also that, yes.
Listen, in life, you don't want to give up all of your little annoyances because there's no catharsis in complaining about them, right?
Also, it's just really easy just to carry like 50 extra pairs of socks in her bag of holding.
Ssah'ra, that was the state of things for weeks as you're sailing back and forth, listening to this heart scream at you every night, until the night after Nazirr vanished. That night, the beginnings of this ritual coalesced in your mind. It requires a place of powerful natural fire. And it requires the use of this dagger in sacrificing either an elf or someone with elven lineage. You'll have to take this person to the ritual site. You learn how to design the ritual site. You learn what rare spell items you're going to need to set up the ritual. How much... Because I know you guys got a bunch of gemstones. I know Benedict was using some to create something at one point. How much liquidity do you guys have in gemstones at the moment?
So the thing that I was creating...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where is it in my notes?
Yeah,
so this was basically a work of art, and I was turning 200 copper of gemstones into 200 gold, and my progress on it is 77 gold.
Okay.
And that project is basically abandoned. Like, there's not enough time, and Benedict would not work on that at this moment. So.
Okay.
I don't know if that has any value.
So
I gotta find the party sheet that has all the gems on there.
So there's two little roadblocks that pop up as this ritual takes place in your mind. The first is that you're going to acquire a large amount of powdered gemstones. And it just so happens that Benedict has this abandoned project where he has gemstones laid to hand. So if you could get him to give those to you, you could use them to help create your ritual circle. The other is this idea of a place of natural fire. Oh no, I pushed the wrong button. There's a button that makes the tabletop chat like eat the whole screen, and I hate it every time I hit it.
Don't hit that button.
Unbind that button.
That button's in the same place as my escape key used to be on my old keyboard, and my life is ruined. Like, I just can't get into it right now. So, Ssah'ra. The other little roadblock is this idea of this place of natural fire. You keep seeing this idea of fire that is cold and inert, but not doused. And you can't make sense of it at first. You're, what, a level 2 wizard? You're not capable of thinking in terms of that kind of arcanery until Zaral arrives on the ship. You have your meeting, you talk to Zaral, and he talks about this place called the Cliffs of Glass. And that sounds exactly like what you're looking for. A huge deposit of natural obsidian, literally frozen fire. And at that point, the ritual is so clear in your mind that it feels like you're being pulled towards it. So you have the gems you need. You know the ritual site will be acceptable. All you need is an elf to sacrifice with at least 10 hit points.
We got one of those.
Do you?
You got 2.
I mean, I don't know. Does Benny want to die?
Wow.
How many
also-
weeks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is like 4 weeks away.
Yeah, you guys have to cross most of the ocean to get there.
Well, we'll see after Nerium talks to him.
Don't we also have an elf crew member? Or did he actually leave?
You have an
Or
elf
is that-
captain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would also count Nerium as an elf for purposes of this. Eladrin are basically elves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In fact, I should work the best because I'm an elf.
Yeah, she's
Raz,
extra elfy.
do you want to sacrifice Treble's character?
If you try and sacrifice my character, she will fight you.
With what?
Benedict.
I don't think Ssah'ra could win.
The elves are banding against you, Sora.
I mean, I'm resistant to psychic damage, so your lance won't do much.
You're not resistant to radiant.
You're not resistant to me, like, punching you to death with the magic hand.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
You
I'm going
do
to say I don't like any of your chances if you have to fight the whole rest of the party.
Yeah.
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 So that seems to be the hitching point, Ssah'ra. You need to find an elf with at least 10 hit points that you're willing to sacrifice in terms of this ritual. And that will grant you the ability to cast this wish spell on Benedict's behalf. Or get
We don't have
Nerium
any-
some socks.
Do we know anything about the Council of Iolad?
The Council of Iolad, that's an Aarakocra thing. So they're like weird bird people monks. But they're
Okay, not
probably not relevant at all to the... No, there would be no like actual elves on this map. The closest
Okay,
are
so
the Dwarven kingdoms down here, which are in Southling lands.
Mhm.
So we need to make a pit stop at the Covenants and kidnap an elf.
You're not sailing to the Covenants,
Either
you're
that-
sailing to the Cliffs of Glass.
Either that or the Bridge City, as I understand it from what some of the other crew have told me. A lot of you were purchased as slaves, were you not? Why not buy a slave there?
That's an excellent idea. I like this guy.
Hey, here's a question.
Yeah.
If you sacrifice a person, like in this ritual, or and then the ritual's completed, and then you cast Revivify,
Wouldn't
No.
function.
doesn't work. Okay.
Nope.
What about like Resurrection or
Nope.
something higher? No. So you'd have to go all the way up the scale to like true resurrection.
Big uppercase NO period. If you sacrifice
Okay.
somebody as point of a magic ritual, they're not coming back. Not in this ritual, anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Consumes them.
I genuinely don't think Benedict would volunteer for this, but Raz the player was like, well, what if?
I mean, if you want to make another character.
No, I don't.
So the question then is, Ssah'ra, where are you going to get an elf? Or
So
someone...
I like the idea of can we sail by Bridge City on the way?
I would require you to have some pretense on why you need to go to the bridge city. To your benefit, and this is open to everybody, to your benefit, this is going to be another point where you guys are going to sail up. Ticey to be like, all right, enjoy the adventure, guys. Thank you, Peanut.
What about the free port of Varenthia? Are there elves there?
Yeah, plenty.
That's on the way. We could just stop there for supplies.
You would need some pretense to tell Tenacity, all right, look, we have this adventure planned out. We're going to go find Zeral's patron at the Cliffs of Glass, but we need this or the other supply from one of these places.
That's fine. Nerium can.
Tenacity doesn't know we're going for the patron. I forget why. Like, what did Double Al tell her we were doing?
There's a storm giant spirit that Double Al tells her we can bind as an atma to the toenail in order to use it safely.
Gotcha.
Well, we just need to stop by the free port for supplies because our new compatriot needs to pick up some things. He wasn't able to get on his way to the ship.
Okay, Ssah'ra, like the only, like, if we're gonna do this, like, I'm not gonna make Benny kidnap somebody.
No,
right?
I'll kidnap somebody. Benny doesn't have to.
Right. So, like, yeah, I'm offering to help you kidnap somebody. But I'm going to tell Tenacity. Rules question, Brick Road.
Yeah.
The teleport spell, 7th level, base level thing. Does the deceit count as a location?
That's an excellent question. Give me a second to take a look here.
I guess because it's moving, yeah, that would.
That might be the wrinkle, yeah.
Yeah.
Destination you choose must be known to you, and it must be on the same plane of existence as you. Your familiarity with the destination determines whether you arrive there successfully. I'll say if you know where the seat is going to be, then you would be able to warp to it. And the reason I'm going to say that is because, like, the spell doesn't function on, like, GPS coordinates, right? You don't need to know longitude and latitude down to the arc second in order to arrive where you're going. By which I mean you could just say we're teleporting to the free port of Varenthia, and then you would arrive in Varenthia, and the literal 6-inch square that you arrive on is not really relevant. So if you know the deceit is at the Kovnos, and the deceit is actually at the Kovnos, you could warp to the deceit and arrive there. I would say the spell would go awry if you try to warp to the deceit and it's not where you think it's going to be. The spell would, in that case, fail.
Somebody with Navigator's tools might be able to estimate that.
I would also say that you guys are very familiar with the deceit and that you have associated objects from the deceit for purposes of the spell.
Right. Do the knickknacks and things I have on my sheet from Varenthia count as associated objects from there? Because I got like dresses and all kinds of bullshit there.
You got a gift from the Varenthian.
Nerium attempts to teleport to Varenthia, the spell would fail because we already know that Nerium never goes back to Varenthia.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Ooh.
Well, this will be interesting. Then we can see just how true your future self
time
was.
paradox.
Right. So in that case, can I teleport to a Southling city that I've been to before? Like, just keep the crime as far away from as possible. It's the perfect crime, right? We go in, we kidnap somebody, we lay low for an 8-hour period, and then we go in, we lay low for 8 hours.
I was gonna say
Urge
order of
spells.
operations.
Yeah, and then we knock somebody unconscious and teleport away. Wait, does teleport have to be completely willing? Let me double check.
Looking the spell up in my app is kind of garbled, so I'm gonna get my actual PHP.
Yes.
Which is
back here in the right back.
Oh, it says 8
I
willing
need
creatures.
Well, it says 8 willing creatures, but there's no reason you can't find an elf and make them a willing creature.
You can dominate.
It just becomes more evil at that point. Like,
Well, I mean,
how evil do you want to get? You're already murdering this person.
not only are we murdering them, we're sacrificing everything that is them.
Oh yeah, no, this is 100% completely evil and awful.
Right, which is why I'm keeping Benny out of it, because I care about him and
Yeah.
his fragile constitution.
I have my mango Key West icy now, and it's very good.
Congratulations.
A frozen treat worthy of kingdom. So,
May you
Nerium.
enjoy it with health.
I'm going to say any Southling kingdom at this point, I'm going to count for you as seen casually. Because you will not have visited them for possibly decades at this point. You've been through
like
your
8 years.
You've been through all your whole slavery in the Shadowed Lands. You've been back and forth to the Feywild. I'm going to say seen casually. So that's a place that you maybe once were familiar with and can picture in your mind pretty clearly. The Deceit, I'm going to say you are... I'll say you have an associated object from the Deceit. Like, teleporting back to the Deceit should be flawless.
All right.
And you're just expending a spell slot to cast this spell. And the other question is, who else is in on this plan?
I mean, Ssah'ra, clearly. I'm not sure who else, though.
I mean, like, I don't feel like...
I was muted. Shit.
It's kidnapping an elf. How hard could it be?
Sorry, just for my notes, I did go to the bathroom real quick. So Nerium is teleporting in and kidnapping somebody, and then teleporting back.
The plan, as I understand it, is Nerium is going to teleport to some Southling city, smooth talk an elf into being a willing target for the teleport spell, teleport them back to the Deceit, and then keep them hidden until it's time to sacrifice them at the Cliffs of Glass. Every single step of this project, completely evil, absolutely malicious.
So it would be more prudent for you to do that, like, as we approached, I assume.
I'm assuming that's what she means, yes.
Okay, and
Like
not
the
like
last-
right here. We're not going to
like-
do that.
The last day, and then we stick them in the flask. What?
Can I do that? I think I can only put willing creatures in the flask.
It'll be
Well,
willing.
we could make them willing.
I like the way you think.
Again, extraordinarily evil. This is an absolutely awful plan in terms of being ethically
So-
okay.
I do want you to know that this was a character that I pussed out on because I was like, oh, being bad feels bad. I would rather play a quirky inventor, and I am super glad I did not play this character in the last campaign.
Regrettably, I have to remain in him for the entire duration that he's trapped in the vessel.
Is your new character evil?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're okay with this.
Now,
Do we tell Sahn is the question.
Probably not.
I mean, I'll tell Sahn because I tell Sahn everything. Hey, Sahn, we're going to go do some light kidnapping for the thing that Ssah'ra has going. Do you mind staying on the ship and keeping an eye out?
Who are you kidnapping?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's fine. Do you need me to lie to the boss while you're gone? Because I'm really bad at that.
No. Just don't say anything. You'll be okay.
Okay.
We won't be gone long. We won't be gone long.
Master,
Okay.
if you need someone to lie to the boss, then you need only ask.
We need like half a day.
Who's all going?
that's up to Nerium.
Just, I think it's just the two of us, right?
I think so.
Yeah, we're
Unless
just gonna less likely to be noticed. We're going just the two of us.
Unless the new
Okay,
guy
this
wants to
isn't
come.
dangerous?
We'll be fine.
It's fine.
Okay. Well, if you say it's fine.
Who do you guys
Side
kidnap?
note, it's absolutely not fine.
You don't tell Benedict about this, I hope.
So no, we're not we're not telling Benedict about
Good.
this.
Okay, good. I want to worry about that later and not now.
But Nerium's like, I never did have that conversation with. Like this is towards the end of the thing. Like during the trip, Nerium did want to have a conversation with Benny.
Okay.
Where basically she tries to cheer him up. And
when would you do this? Like at what time of day?
oh, it's just like at lunch, like right after lunch on like the third or fourth day. I'm like, listen, man, we got to stop. We got to do something about the boiled potatoes. Like,
So
my bowel movements can't handle any more than this.
In that
So you
case,
would-
then Phil and Gary are probably with you because they've also had their fill of the boiled potatoes. So
Like,
we're having a
don't
boiled
worry.
potato intervention.
Yeah, we're like, well, Nerium's like, I'll go talk to him and be like, she'll sit down and she's like,
Yeah, you
she
find
just-
Benedict like at like shipside. Like he's after lunch, he'd probably just be like, I don't know, smoking a cigar or something like that, just staring out at the waves.
He goes, "How you doing, buddy?"
He's staring off very distantly. He's holding a pipe in his hand, and he's got a dagger at his side. And he looks at Nerium and says, "To this day, I still don't know how he smoked these. Like it doesn't work. Like he takes like a tinder box and tries to like put the match in the pipe, and it blows out. He takes his dagger and like channels like whatever energy he does to smite it, and he uses that to light a cigar, and he tries to put it in the pipe and says, I don't know how he did it.
Well, that doesn't work 'cause it deals radiant damage. You need fire damage to light a cigar with a smite.
It's close enough.
That's the rules mechanics reason why that didn't work.
It's like a fire. It's hot enough. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The scars don't have hit points. But that's what he's sitting there doing.
Well, he goes, I am probably not the best person to do this, but maybe I am the best person to do this. You need to snap out of it, man. Like you're.
Look, I know.
He goes.
Everything
"You-"
about this hurts so bad, and I'm clearly not helping anybody. Even I'm sick of the food, but I just
Okay.
But
Do you know
and-
one of the reasons why I left the Feywilds is because there's a lot of really powerful things there that want things from you. And she goes, you're kind of in the same situation. At some point, some god came to you and said, I need you to go and protect this person. Right? That's basically what you told us. That you were on a mission from your god to protect Nazirr.
and I failed to do that.
I don't think you did. I think you got Nazirr Nazirr was not a nice guy, okay? Nazirr was an evil, unrepentant orc pirate who
All things I loved about him.
Nerium says under her breath, says, geez, man, like, quit being so down bad. But she says, okay, you're not that. So what that tells me is your god, maybe not your god, I don't know. Religion is, what is the word I'm looking here for here?
Faith.
It's
Funny?
it's a racket. Right? Like gods are basically the same thing as warlock patrons, except for they trick people into doing it instead of making honest deals.
I want to ask you something.
What?
And he hesitates and reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a pouch. Everything that you've said scares me witless.
He goes,
And I I'm not sure. If you're trying to rouse me from your stupor, and what he does is he reaches into a bag and he pulls out a blue oleander flower, and it's one of the tokens that you gave him his wedding. I consider you one of my best allies and closest friends on the ship, but even I know that sometimes you just say what people want to hear. So he's going to hand Nerium the oleander token, which apparently the understanding was that she would be honest about whatever. And he's going to ask her, you really don't think I failed?
He goes, I think first of all, she's gonna take it and she's gonna pocket it. And she says, I think you did exactly what you were supposed to do. Nazirr was not a good person. He is not the kind of person who would have made the sacrifice in that moment. He goes, you being with him got him here at that moment where he was needed to be there. Does that make sense? That is the exact kind of thing that gods and goddesses manipulate paladins into doing all the time.
The words sink into him and he reaches for his dagger and he just sort of looks at it, and there's this like praised glow in his eyes of like realization and understanding and rage and love and despair, and it all sort of just like mixes together, and the dagger starts glowing like it's red hot and then it's white hot, and then all of a sudden it all dies out and he looks straight ahead and he goes, oh my god.
And the entire time Nerium is still babbling. She's just talking.
I think I'm going to be sick. And he stands up and lurches over the banister and actually vomits.
Nerium.
Yeah. Yep.
10 feet away. Gary and Phil are hiding conspicuously behind a pile of barrels.
Ssah'ra is with them.
Psst! What about the potatoes?
So yeah, he vomits up his lunch, and he says, my grievance isn't with myself, it's with the gods.
I don't think that was exactly Nerium's point, but I like where this is going.
He sheathes his dagger and he says, if I'm to live out of spite, then
Yep. The best revenge is living well. And besides, you could, it's not hopeless. I mean, Nerium's point is like during this was like he's a paladin of devotion. Paladins are only gifted power to do a thing. They have a task that they're supposed to do, like in the performance of a task. Sometimes that task is just a general crusade against evil, but like Nerium always thought it was weird that Benny and Nazirr were together, so she thinks that she's always figured that like their relationship was part of some godly plot to manipulate Nazirr.
I love that adjective. And Benedict came to the same conclusion, more or less, but he's been so emotionally grief-stricken that the fact that he can still use his abilities, like to light his cigars, I guess, means that the gods have not abandoned him, but he wasn't able to put that together until this moment. And the conclusion that he comes to, and he says this aloud, he says, this calamity is real. And if this is my purpose, then maybe at the end of it all, if there's any justice in this world and the realms beyond, maybe I can bring him back after I've done what needs to be done. But if I don't, there won't be a world to bring him back to.
And you know what would be a good first step?
Well, I
roast
did,
beef for dinner.
I did just vomit over the ship prow. No, the prow's the front. The balcony. I did just throw up. I don't know if you want me in the kitchen right now, but
I said roast beef for dinner. We just had lunch like 15 minutes ago. So
Yeah. that's right. I wrote this as no. So what Benedict will do is he will begin to snap out of it now, and he's very grateful to you for doing that,
Mhm.
and you have his complete trust, as misguided as that is.
Right.
But I don't remember where I wrote this down. But what I was going to do is from that point on, he was going to just make whatever supply the ship had of short ribs, which was Nazir's favorite meal that Benny would make for him in the Covenants when they didn't eat out. And it's just gonna be short ribs for days. And they're really good, but you're gonna get sick of them. And
On
then
the
we have to
third
have this
day-
intervention
And
again.
then the third Nerium says, "Okay, this has got to stop." And she finds.
So we're now over here.
So
It's
why don't we
like-
take a 15-minute break there to get your short ribs and get your bagels, whatever needs to
Oh,
be done.
that sounds good now. Oh no, why did I do that?
Good job.
I'm gonna have a burrito. That's my lunch. So
Go ahead and
So,
drop the curtain
burritos are
about 15
good.
minutes. When we come back, we will find out what terrible thing happens during the middle of this teleportation elf kidnapping Asa plot.
I love
Nothing.
Ocelot. Can we please patent that?
My dude,
It goes
Asa,
all
we coined Asa plot years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is the
was,
first I've
this
ever
is
heard of
like
this word.
Metal Gear Solid 2 and
This is-
3, my guy.
Oh my god, it's such a good word.
2013, 2014.
I live under a literal rock. I did grow up on a farm, son.
Did you grow up?
No.
Were you born in a barn?
Did you play college ball?
No. I was not born in a barn. I was born in Stockton. Which is actually pretty barn-like, I guess. But okay, I'm going to get food.
University of Texas. Not some Ivy League school.
We're gonna suffer a little bit as a party without Nazirr because he had the utility.
Yeah.
We'll be fine as long as Sahn and I roll high on the initiative.
It'll be okay. You can't make a bad D&D party.
It is very difficult to do so, yes.
I wonder if
There's
I
a
should go
challenge
get
for
a
that campaign.
soda. I'm so upset. You guys are they're like we have the family dollar closest to me, they're shutting it down because it made a profit. Brought in I know the manager, it was making 110% over the costs to run it every month. So it was making 110% profit, pure profit. And that wasn't enough, so they're closing it down. So now I got to go to a freaking Dollar General that's 10 minutes away when I want to get cups or something, or plastic bowls or whatever. Upset. Can you beat Final Fantasy V using only geomancers? Yes, but you're going to hate your life.
Yeah, and I watched that video and he did hate his life, except it's in fits and spurts.
Yeah, that one's
sometimes
particularly bad.
Yet sometimes Geomancer is great. Sometimes it's absolute dog shit.
I mean, by sometimes you mean World 1, yes.
Yeah.
Geo does not scale.
Effort's really bad.
I mean, there's a few sticking points, right? But in the Rift, one of the most common thing you can get is wind slash. So
Yep.
you're leaving you just equip air knives and you do 1,500 to all parts.
12 to
It's not-
1,500 damage, yeah.
So I mean that's not terrible. And then you have one person go in with the bell.
Yep.
The rune bell, or am I thinking of the tinkle
Earth
bell?
bell.
Oh yeah, I guess they have the guy.
Yeah, there's you got the you got a Geomancer exclusive legendary weapon.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like one of the bells does crits. I'm googling it now. Let's see. So the Gaia bell does quake.
Yep.
The rune chime, yeah. No. The Gaia bell is the sealed castle one. Oh, okay.
You didn't go for any of the optional bells. Of course, that's like chasing like rare steals and random drops. But he didn't need it because he got
Yeah.
Wind Slash and among other things.
Yeah. But the rune chime is actually pretty powerful because it um it does the it has the same magic bonus that the rune axe has.
Yeah, where you burn MP to crit.
Yeah, and also it adds your magic stat to the formula, which they have a decent magic stat, so. And it also boosts spells. It does elemental boost. I've never gotten the Tinkle Bell from Twintania, not a single time.
Yeah, there's only I think 4 bells in the game.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because you get the
I
one
think
in
it's the
Karnak
Diamond
and
Bell. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Diamond Bell, the
Gaia Bell,
Earth Bell, the Tinkle Bell, and
the Rune Bell.
there's one more. Yeah.
The Rune Bell uses the axe damage formula. Okay, yeah. So cool. They're so bad.
Yeah, and inside the rift, inside the rift, and against X Death and Ned, all you got is Wind Slash from that. So between that and a magic lamp, you can kind of just whittle everything down, and then stuff.
Yep. What is the Gaia? What is it? Cleft of Dimension. All right, I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
You do that.
See, the problem I'm having now
Hmm.
is I used to have a Mango Key West icy, and now I don't.
That is a problem.
It's a rough.
I mean, it's really hard to have your cake and eat it at the same time, Brick Road.
It wasn't cake; it was an icy.
Cake
You
are basically unfrozen ices.
No. What?
you slurped your icy too fast. I don't know what to tell you.
It would have given him brain freeze if he did.
The brain freeze is what moderates your icy intake.
Did not experience brain freeze.
Then you did not eat it fast enough, and you enjoyed your icy exactly the amount of time it should have taken you to enjoy.
Listen, I know we were all really excited about the Castlevania DLC for Vampire Survivors, but an even more exciting DLC pack has dropped.
Oh God, what do they do now?
They released Shrek DLC for Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah,
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
yeah, I have seen that.
It is
I can get behind a Shrek DLC for that.
$8.
Do you get to wash off Shrek or just buildings in the swamp?
If you loaded up a level, it was like a giant nude Shrek covered in mud. You had to like set up the scaffolding in front of him, hose down his nipples. Like, that would be nightmarish.
Oh, yeah.
That would be nightmarish.
No, isn't it? You have to set up a. Isn't it? You like it's like all nice and stuff, and you have to re-swampify it.
I mean, I've cleaned out like Lara Croft's obstacle course, and I've cleaned out Tifa Lockhart's bar. This game just seems to get the weirdest DLC packs.
It's called Seventh Heaven. Fake fan.
Wow. And what is Seventh Heaven, McDohl?
The bar.
It's a bar, and who owns it?
Yeah, Tifa.
Tifa. It's Tifa Lockhart's bar, isn't it?
You will address it. You will address it by its proper name, Brick Road. I don't know. I'm being surly today.
Just having a surly life.
Listen, you're always surly with me. I can be surly with you every once in a while as a treat.
As a treat.
As a treat.
But yeah, that's like the only game I played this week is Vampire Survivors and Power Wash Simulator. Just going back and forth.
New patch in FF14 dropped this week as well.
That was the new patch. Are they like? Does the story seem like it's going to go anywhere, or is it just?
It's going somewhere. It's getting good. I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes in the next two patches because that's when the story is supposed to end.
Yeah. Curious to see what they do for the next expansion.
I'm
'Cause,
worried.
like, I don't know if we're going
that
to
the
push
next-
this whole like we're just going to keep going from world to world doing catastrophes until we get all 13 worlds done, and that'll last us for another 20 years, or if they're going to do something totally different.
Who knows?
I'm worried the next like actual mainline Final Fantasy game is just going to be the next MMO, and there's going to.
I don't see that happening with the way 14 is going right now.
No.
They've invested a lot into future proofing it.
Yeah, no, I think the last I heard, the next expansion they were wanting to go like back to a fantasy setting, like not as realistic, like back to like Final Fantasy, old school settings. But I don't know, we'll see. I'm still waiting for the Final Fantasy 9 remake.
Final Fantasy 16 is such a people's reaction to that game is so fascinating because there's like people that dislike it so much that like they're like straight up lying about it. Like there was one guy that posted a thing proving that it got less than like 280 sales on PC.
I don't understand why people
What?
hate the game.
Yeah, it's weird because like what they're doing is people are like extrapolating, like basically they'll post like the Steam database information which lists like the peak number of players,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll say, well, there was only like this many people, so we can extrapolate that only this many people bought it. But like he just like straight up lied. Like none of the numbers he shared like were like they were all doctored. So
I don't understand people. I really don't.
I get why people don't like the game. It is, by all accounts, it's kind of like a generic-ish, open world-ish action game of which there are thousands, right? Like if it's just, and it's in a kind of style of fantasy that's not everyone's cup of tea. There's a lot of really good, legitimate reasons to not enjoy the game.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like one of the most Final Fantasy stories we've had in a while.
Yeah, I play Final Fantasy games with a story. Like if I want a good action game, I'll go for like Elder Scrolls or something.
If you want a good action game, you'll go to Elder Scrolls.
It's listen, just because it's
Ugh.
difficult doesn't mean it's not good.
Not difficult.
I also understand the criticism of like,
Or not Elder Scrolls, Elden Ring. Sorry.
there you go.
Oh.
Okay, now I understand.
Yeah, not Elder Scrolls, Elden Ring.
I also understand the criticism where they're like, listen, they were just trying to be Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones was popular, and they just tried to do that. Sure, I get it. I that's exactly what they did. I'm convinced that everybody on that writing team who was putting the world and stuff together was like, make sure you watch all 8 seasons of Game of Thrones before you come to work. Like, it really feels like that's what happened. But
You know, like I kind of that's where the tone they're going for. But even more, I would say the game feels like just a more adult version of like a Final Fantasy Tactics setting.
yeah,
Like that's the strike zone that it hit. I feel like it hits.
and they should have
Not
showed the
Game of
dawn.
Thrones. Yeah.
But that already exists. It's called Ogre Tactics.
But Ogre Tactics, yeah, that's like
Tactics
the strike
Ogre.
zone. Yeah.
Not ogre tactics.
Ogre Battle and Tactics Ogre, yeah.
Just the previous Final Fantasy, the previous mainline Final Fantasy game, because they release 4,000 spin-offs every year. But like 15 was the kind of this just very juvenile story about like teenage kids broing it up and like being aimless and directionless, and like something terrible happens and now they're stuck on a literal train and dealing with all this trauma and dark shit, and they beat up the villain and then the credits roll and it's fine. But that's not the Clive's is very much not like a hero's journey kind of thing. It really does feel like it's more grown up and mature out of the gate, which is not something the Final Fantasy series has done very often.
Lots
Yeah,
of
I think they did it really
bad,
well, though.
I think more bad things happens to Clive before anything good happens to him than any other Final Fantasy character, period.
Right. It's just such a huge, because at the start of the game, Noctis and Clive are about the same age. Both games start, actually Noctis might be older. I think Clive's only like 15 in like his first mission, like the prologue mission.
Yeah.
But like in that setting, a character of that age is an adult. Like he's already grown up. Whereas Noctis was like this kind of disaffected, like, oh, I can't believe I gotta go do this stupid shit kind of kid, right?
Can't believe I gotta go get married.
I can't believe I got like responsibilities and stuff. Ugh. My dad wants me to take my awesome car and my infinite money and go out and have a terrific vacation with my best friends. What a dick.
Honestly, Noctis feel, at least from the game itself, which is what they did put forward. It honestly just looks like Noctis is just like, oh, okay, fine, I'm doing this thing now.
Yeah, the game is about him growing into his role. Like he has to do a lot of growing up very quickly, given the
So
circumstances of the game.
Yeah.
You want to know something like really interesting that I picked up on, and I don't know, I've never seen this mentioned as an intentional thing. But when you look at Lightning, she is intentionally supposed to be Girl Cloud. They said
Sure.
they did 12 people were like, okay, we want to snatch the lightning in a bottle that was Final Fantasy 17. So what do? Let's make Cloud again, but let's make him a girl. So they made Lightning like have all of the Cloud mannerisms and stuff like that. She's a little more complicated, but like that was their kind of starting spot.
there's more to Cloud than what you're talking
Right,
about.
yeah, I know that, but like
Yeah,
that kind of started at that.
Literal imposter syndrome.
Right, but like they started like there, right, and then they took Lightning into her own spot. But Noctis feels like a character that was built with how people remember Squall being.
A little bit.
Right.
I mean, he was
such an
written for
interesting
what was
character
it- what-
too.
He was
'Cause-
designed and written for a character that for a game that he never got to be in.
I
Yeah.
always love thinking about Squall because he's very different than how people remember him.
Yeah.
He's not the way people remember him, and I think that's interesting. Whenever I go back and play Final Fantasy VIII, because that game has he has a very powerful inner monologue, and in his head,
Yeah.
he is that
Done.
character. But like that doesn't project out into his behaviors. Like nobody else sees him like that.
There are two Squalls, and you have to ignore the one in his head to actually see what the rest of the world sees, to actually understand basically everything about him.
I would love a version of that
He's
game
also-
that has like a modern localization, because I think that would come
Yeah.
across a lot better. There's a scene in Final Fantasy VIII where like they set Squall and Renoa up on a date, and she's like trying to explain like, hey, you should like let us in, because none of them know what he's like at that point. They haven't met him yet. I think that like a scene like that could sell that character a lot better with a better localization.
But yeah, Noctis feels that way, at least for a while.
Yeah, Noctis is
Again.
a spoiled brat kid who's not taking his job seriously. That's how he starts the game.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a spoiled royal kid. He's a prince.
but I've never seen any like that like official, like, because and I thought about that when I was playing through Final Fantasy 15 the first time. I'm like, this character reminds me a lot of how people remember Squall being, versus like Lightning was very intentionally designed to be Girl Cloud.
I think a lot of that's just the teenage angst. Like Squall was just a teenager trying to figure stuff out. Noctis is just I think Noctis is 19 at the beginning of the game. Like trying to figure stuff
He's
out.
really sheltered. Like Noctis is a
Yeah.
super sheltered kid.
I mean, let's be real. Noctis has probably the most raw line in any Final Fantasy game. So all complaints on his game set aside, that off the throne jester line is the most raw line in any Final Fantasy game. I do not.
I
That is a very strong line.
and it's earned at that point in the game. Like he's completed his character arc. He's grown into his role. He's taking his responsibility seriously. He's stepping up to do what he's here to do. Like he earns that line. It's not just a cool thing he says. He means it.
And then, I don't want to say this because I feel like Final Fantasy 16 is still too new, and there's a couple people in the call that haven't finished it.
I have not played it.
So I'm not gonna say that, but like Noctis's line is better than like Clive's.
I can't
line.
even think of a comparable line from Clive.
Okay, I'm gonna DM it to you just so you know what I'm picturing.
Okay.
Let's see. I'll send it to you on the laptop.
Like I'm not even
Sorry.
sure they meant off my chair gesture to be like his big quip line at the end. Like
Right.
they might not even intended that. It just happened.
But it's really good.
It is a great line.
a
It's a
really
great
good
moment.
line.
Sorry about that. I'm back.
Okay.
You're fine.
That one. He says,
Yeah, no, fuck that. That's that's so dorky.
yeah, it was. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. All right. But it does fit with the tone of the game too. So it's like, because like, despite like people's,
You know who I could hear saying this line? The main character in Metaphor could say that
Yeah.
line.
yes. but that's like one of the, I feel like a lot of people, again, like don't remember actually what happened in Final Fantasy. Like they played it and they have like this game that they remember, because people remember it for like, the setting, like like, oh, it's like Game of Thrones, but like it's not. It's like an intensely hopeful game. Intensely hopeful.
This has been
Like, it's-
Treble's video review of Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't an action RPG, so or which was a spectacle action game, so I could actually enjoy playing it.
Yeah, it's definitely they definitely made two games. One, they made the the hard mode is an actual action game, and then like the one you have to play through first is like that setting where you just I just want to just watch the story.
Storyteller mode.
But I loved
Yeah,
the
that's-
story. And
Right, I
loved
get it.
Clive.
You love us doing kidnappings?
I do. Now, don't take this personally.
Mm-hmm.
Just from coming from a standpoint of encounter design, I just have my notes just basically saying to me, just ruin whatever their plan is. That's
Right.
my note to myself so I can introduce this coming encounter. So here's what happens.
Makes sense.
It seems like standard practice.
You guys sail towards the cliffs of glass. A day out from the cliffs, Nerium and Ssah'ra are planning to surreptitiously... Actually, Ssah'ra's going, so it would be surreptitiously, right?
Yeah,
Boo.
very good.
Boo. Get off the stage.
All right,
Oh,
I'll leave.
Brother. No, I'm just.
Like we need to. So
You teleport to unnamed Southling Metropolis City.
Melvin Ponce,
You just
the capital
teleport
of Melvin
to
Ponce.
Melvin Ponce. Who do you...
Capital. What's the capital of Melvin Ponce's name, Brook Road?
I'm sure there is. I don't know.
I thought it was. I think Melvin Ponce was the city.
Oh,
Melvin,
so
Melvin
question.
Ponce is a, as a city. Melvin Ponce is a city in the duchy of, in the region of Melvin Ponce in the nation of Melvin Ponce.
Fair.
Do we get communes on this trip?
No,
No. Okay.
no. Al has locked away all of the artifacts. Things are too tense right now. So you teleport out to Melvin Ponce. How many times can you cast teleport in a row? Like, well, after you cast it once, how long do you have to wait till you can cast it again?
8 hours.
You have to wait 8 hours?
Yeah. So
You and
which is
Ssah'ra
why
spend that 8 hours having hilariously bizarre adventures as Melvin Ponce is unrelated to anything you guys are going through, experiencing a zombie apocalypse.
Awesome.
You guys
What?
teleport in. The whole city is on lockdown. Parts of it are on fire. Everybody is freaking out. The dead have risen, are battling down the walls, and you have no difficulty finding a pair of elven nobles who are willing to be teleported away.
right. Cool.
And
Great.
under no circumstances will any of you ever be obligated to deal with this zombie apocalypse. It's just
But I kind of want to now.
not your zoo, not your monkeys, right?
Yeah, that's basically.
So Ssah'ra insists that we take the one noble that's a virgin.
The what?
Ssah'ra wants to take
We're
the
not.
noble
We're
that's a
not
virgin.
picky. We're not being picky about the. Just, come on. Let's go.
Only one.
Like we spend the next 8 hours arguing over this as we take our long rest.
Yeah, so you arrive in town, you have close calls against hordes of zombies. You probably spend the first hour or so just manically fleeing for your lives. Manage to hole up somewhere safe, getting a rest. On a scale of 1 to 10, with the understanding that you are absolutely not going to solve this zombie apocalypse or do anything about it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful are Nerium and Ssah'ra while they're boots on the ground there?
Oh, -10. Not -10. She's not like. Yeah, no. Like.
Yeah, no, we're evil.
if-
We're here for one
if-
purpose.
If like I am doing nothing to help. Okay, maybe not -10. We'll say 0 because I'm not like actively trying to like. I'm not like tripping people. Like going out of my way to. I'm not dick dastardly stopping to cheat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like, I will. You don't have to outrun the zombie horde. You just have to outrun the slowest peasant.
Okay.
Kind of situation. So, 0.
Ssah'ra,
Yeah,
you being
Ssah'ra's
at all
lawful
helpful?
good. She's here for one purpose. No, we're here for one purpose: to kidnap an elf and get out. Their zombie apocalypse is fun to watch. She enjoys watching people getting eaten alive. It's a great show.
So you guys get there and make popcorn.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Totally.
Ssah'ra's popcorn and the zombies have the locals.
So like we have this conversation with like these like elven nobles, and we're like, all right, so I can carry 6 of us out, so 4 of you, so we find 4 nobles, and then when we teleport out, we just take 1, leave the other 3
Oh,
with the zombies beating on the door.
I'm going to say you only take back 2. You managed to hole
What?
up in a manor house, which from the outside seemed like it hadn't been touched yet.
But
Managed
why
to,
would we take back 2? We only need
I'm
1.
trying to explain that, and y'all keep
Yeah, okay,
interrupting.
sorry.
Mr. An interrupting cow over here. You managed to hole up inside this manor house.
Oh.
See, there it is. I knew it was coming. You hole up inside this manor house, where a pair of young elves, I say young, but young elves are like in their like early hundreds or so.
Yeah.
The young lord and lady Ilaris, brother and sister. Their parents have both been killed in the first wave of the zombie attacks, but in so doing, they have magical apparatus protecting their house, which is beginning to fail. They're under the impression that the city of Melvin Ponce is lost, and you have no difficulty whatsoever convincing them that you're going to teleport them away to safety.
Mm-hmm.
What story do you sell them on? Like, what do you tell them is going to happen next?
I mean, I'll just tell them that I came here searching for my I'm basically, I'll just tell them I heard there was trouble, came to help, and to save my noble brethren.
So
And then she thinks to herself, and she's like, "Oh, you know what?" And she's like, "Hold on a moment," and she'll be like, she's gonna message, she's gonna read over to Ssah'ra. It's like, this is where we sent Penelope.
she wouldn't have arrived yet.
Like, okay, Nerium like messages, like she says, "Hold on a sec," and then she sends a sending to Penelope. Hey, don't go to Melvin Ponce. It's full of zombies. And that's it. No more. No
No further
whatever.
context.
No further context. No nothing. And then be like, but yeah, no. We heard there was a problem, and we came here to save some of my cousins who have sadly. And then she'll introduce herself as the Duchess Saria.
Okay.
And then,
Are you saying that this brother and sister, these siblings, Ilaris, are your like distant cousins that you've come to save?
Yes.
Okay.
Like,
Wow.
like we're like, so she come to save like all of her distant cousins, and unfortunately they're like the only 2 that are still alive.
Everybody who's not Ssah'ra and Nerium, if you are trained in medicine, give me a medicine check, please. If you're not trained in
yeah.
medicine, just sit quietly and think about happy thoughts.
Medicine.
happy thought attained.
11.
Can anybody beat an 11?
Oh, surely.
We're the only 2 here.
No, but I want the other people to make this check.
They might not be trained in medicine.
Ssah'ra and
Yeah,
Nerium are not making this check, but I'm giving. So it's only Benny making the roll, and he only got an 11. Is that correct?
I can goose that if you want, Benny.
Oh, I'll take any benefit you can give me.
Ssah'ra takes the brass collar around off of his neck and puts it on Benny's, and
Wait. Excuse me? He
and you get a D4. Add a
It's a
D4 to that roll.
little tighter than I'm used to.
That's not true, and we all know it.
14?
14. These bewildered elves are brought back to the ship. I'm assuming the plan is to try to keep them hidden until you land on the cliffs and then take them ashore.
We were gonna stick them in the flask, I think.
Correct.
Here's the problem, though, is that it takes them. I have to babysit them for the entire time that they're within the flask.
Before we even get to the flask, you guys are
Question.
below decks on the deceit. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and load up the deceit again. Did we draw all the lines we wanted to draw on here?
I just give
We
it
don't
up.
have one of the field of var, but
We've given up on lines. We're done with lines.
I've given up. Yes,
Okay, it's fair.
I don't have it in me after losing Nazirr.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do Ssah'ra or Nerium know anything about zombies?
I don't.
There's just dead people that won't stay dead.
That's nerd
Yeah, I'm trying to
magic.
think if Ssah'ra would have any indication to check to make sure these elves have not been like bitten or scratched by the zombies before we bring them back.
They haven't, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
Benny.
Yeah.
You're introduced to the Lady Verenya and Lord Elrondor of House Alaris of Melvin Ponce. They are gracious and overjoyed that they have been rescued from the zombie apocalypse. They're a little bewildered because they've been brought into the hold of a pirate or of a ship. They don't know it's a pirate ship unless you guys tell them. Benny.
Benedict doesn't know anything about this plot, so he
No,
is sort of confused as they are.
but you do notice that the Lady Verenya is wearing quite a lot of makeup. And you were a Southling. You lived in the South for quite a long time. And this could be expected. But something tells you she's using it to hide an illness that she's experiencing. That's what you get with your 14 medicine.
I will ask for her consent and then use lay on hands to try and remove a disease.
Oh, no, she's not going to consent to that. She's not going to let you examine her or anything. And when you ask, she kind of gives you this haughty, how dare you, sort of. And she hides behind her brother, who very protectively steps up, puffs out his chest, even though you could definitely flatten him basically immediately.
You
So,
will
like
let
that.
this elf
Above my
examine
pay,
you.
above my pay grade, but who else is here?
Everybody, the whole party.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will report all of this to, I don't know, Nerium?
You will let this man examine you, lady, whatever your name is.
Look, I'm not trying to feel you up. I literally just lost my husband.
She didn't think you were trying to feel her up, but now she kind of does.
Ssah'ra will demand that she let Benny examine.
Ssah'ra demands it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, at minimum, an argument breaks out between the Lord and Lady and you guys below decks. At
How
which-
loud does this argument get?
It's going to get very loud very quickly.
Nerium, can you
So-
stop that?
So let's start here. Let's go ahead and place your guys' markers down at whichever deck you want to be on. I'll let you pick. Where this teleportation.
Where's the nunk barrel?
I assumed it was an act. This is like the break and hold and stuff, right?
Nunk's barrel, I guess it would just be wherever
Nunk wants to be that day. Yeah.
Nunk wants to be that day. That's down. You guys are down in the cargo hold it down there. I'm going to go ahead and put the Lord and Lady down.
If they start getting loud, Ssah'ra will do something about it.
Oh, things are going to get loud. Don't worry.
Yeah, before they get loud.
Well, so this argument begins to break out. I know it's hard to see the spaces down here, and it is going to matter in a moment, but things are going to get tricky. Also, I need red. And the argument is starting to get off the ground. Ssah'ra's like, listen, you're going to let my friend here, he's a doctor and a healer. He's going to examine you. And she's saying, no, I don't want him touching me. And the brother steps in front of her and says, like, how dare you unhand my sister? And you're just starting to get into it when she starts vomiting profusely.
Can Ssah'ra try and knock her out?
Wet, you can after we roll initiative, but for
Okay.
now, she is vomiting this wet chunky blood all over the barrels. And now let's roll initiative.
Well, that's disgusting.
Oh, it's so disgusting. It's the worst.
Oh, man, initiative
I
sucks.
I couldn't diagnose that. I'm sorry. You have the chunky blood vomit disease.
It's hard to hard to diagnose.
With a 14, right?
All right, I need to put 23 on red. I don't know what this. Oh, that's a ship we don't need. That's a ship we don't need. I'm gonna.
There's a lot we don't need on this map. It's been here for a while.
It's been a mess.
Are you on 18, McDohl?
I am not on 18. I am on 10.
We
Sorry.
don't have our artifacts for this. I
New character sheet. Who dis?
No, you don't have your artifacts for this because Double Owl has them under lock and key.
I don't think that affects me in any way.
Okay, who's at the top of my order?
Red.
Red. Red was in the previous campaign and did not make it to demigodhood.
Nope.
No, but he obviously did whatever goal he set out to. So good on him.
He ruined everything.
The blood that she's vomiting up is it smells extraordinarily foul instead of just the faint metallic smell you might usually get. It smells very strongly of old decay. And as it hits, because you've got crates of goods and sundries and things here, and as it hits down on them, it begins to congeal into a mass before a small creature made out of blood and other bits of debris from these crates and the sundries within stands before you. And is this correct? That's a lot of damage. Is this really what? All right. I need... Oop, I didn't mean to open that menu up. My bad. I think Sahn should make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
You got it. Where's Benny? Is Benny within 10 feet of me?
I'm next to you.
Yes.
I'm next to everybody.
Okay.
actually.
What's the bonus, Benny? Is it +5?
Still 5.
So that would be a con save of 22.
22. Sahn,
Mhm.
you're a bug man, but you still have something like blood in your system.
Oh yeah.
And it begins to seep from various orifices. Your ear holes, the sides of your segmented eyes, out the corner of your mandibles. And it just gives you this pounding headache, but you suffer no other ill effects other than just this bizarre bleeding as this creature congealing into a vaguely humanoid form moving in your direction, or turning in your direction. It has not moved from its space. That was Red. I need to make a check at the end of Red's turn. Okay. Who's next?
You have the deceit, which I don't know if that's supposed to be in there or not.
We don't have any. We're not doing ship combat right now.
Okay, Nerium. Let's see. How is the girl? She's still just
badly vomiting, and it looks like on her initiative count, she's going to do that again.
Oh, okay.
The girl orange or green?
The girl is orange. The gentleman is green.
I need an intelligence saving throw from her.
From the girl?
Yes.
Okay. 12, which is a lot higher than I was expecting.
Cool. All right. Where is it? Because I'm using a 4th spot. 76. I don't know if 76, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is going to be enough to kill her, but I'm going to try. Uh, 26 psychic damage.
Yeah, that's enough to kill her.
Cool. She's also incapacitated if it matters.
No, she's very dead.
Right.
And-
We only need 1 elf anyway.
As her body hits the floor, what you see happening to Sahn, where this blood is just seeping out of all the weird holes in his face, begins happening to her as well. As her body collapses to the ground. So her eyes, her ears, her nose, her mouth, even through her pores on her body, staining her clothes. This incredibly disgusting and bizarre exsanguination is taking place.
Oh, I
Nerium.
need to mark off my 7th level spell slot. Too.
Moving or staying? Oh yeah, because you cast teleport to get here.
Yes.
Moving or staying put?
I still have a bonus action.
Sure.
I would like to give a bard die to Ssah'ra. Ssah'ra, please kill the weird blood golem.
Okay.
We only need the 1 elf.
So that's Nerium's turn. Are you saying that out loud? Because the young man's still here. I can hear what you're saying.
And Benedict can too.
Yeah.
Okay. Nerium,
We're,
stay put
we're,
there.
we're past that.
Who's next?
What's he gonna do? Run away? But after Nerium, it's orange.
Well, she's dead. Oh,
Okay.
I can make a roll though. Okay, yeah,
Do I
she's
need
dead.
to? Do I need to keep that on there?
Keep what on there?
Her token, because
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
okay. Let's see. Ssah'ra, followed by Zoral.
Ssah'ra, before you take your turn, I will let you spend your reaction, if you like, to make a perception check.
Yeah, there's not an easy way to throw a body overboard from down here, is there?
Not from down here, no. You've got to go up 2 decks.
2 decks.
Yeah. Well, no, I guess you could go up 1 deck and like just try to shove her through one of the row holes. What's the row hole on a ship called, McDohl?
No.
You're a Navy guy.
An ore port?
Or port.
Yeah.
That sounds all right. I'm gonna go with or port.
The Navy
Okay.
is well known for its rowing capacity.
Yeah, didn't you do a lot of rowing during your
Yeah,
service?
yeah. Absolutely, all of the rowing.
A guy
about
sitting up in front of you just banging a drum to keep time. Yeah, if
Yeah.
up deck, you can probably shove her out through one of the or ports, which I've decided is the correct word for that.
I'm pretty sure it actually is.
I'll use my reaction for this thing. Perception check, you said?
Yeah, perception check. So what this means is you're not going to get a reaction to use till the start of your next turn.
Yeah, that's fine.
You do have a bard
Ssah'ra,
die.
I've got the body. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Well, my perception is only an 11.
Only 11.
You have
Okay.
the bard die.
Oh, I haven't barred
You-
that.
And if you fail the check after that, you still get to keep the die, so it doesn't hurt to use it.
Okay, so a 17. If
17.
11 doesn't pass.
Here's the thing. This girl just vomited blood into this area, which congealed into this mass. The blood seeping from her body in this spot is going to congeal into a second mass almost for a certainty.
Yeah, that's what I figured. We don't have a way to clean up the blood, do we?
ChatGPT confirms it is called an or port. That is the correct
Very
word.
nice.
Good job.
If you ready an action to shape water, the blood out of here, I will get you a way to get it out.
Yeah, I do have that.
So what are you doing?
Oh wait, no, never mind. I don't have an artifact. Never mind. This is all wrong. I have no plans. I forgot I'm not using my artifact.
Oh no.
Oh no, I have no plans.
So,
I
are
know
there
it's
any
not
barrels?
I know
are
it's
there
not
any
my
barrels of water?
turn, but
Are there
Nerium
barrels
does
of
have a
water? Yeah,
plan.
absolutely.
Okay, could I use shape water to basically encase this spare blood in water, or just use shape water on the blood itself to throw it out the ore port if I can carry it up there?
Yeah,
Okay, we're gonna do that.
I'll say blood is. I mean, blood is mostly water anyway. Yeah.
Yes, I want to use shape water to basically collect all the blood that she can into an orb or something, and then she's gonna run upstairs and throw it out the port.
Is this the gross? I mean, you're not going to run, you slither, but is this the grossest thing
she'll-
you've ever done?
Yeah, she'll use her teleport, or not her bonus action for telekinetic flight bullshit stuff.
Well, show me the
Yeah.
movement. You've got a ladder going up here. You've also got a door going through this area, which has a second ladder. And we'll say 10 feet to get up the ladder.
Okay, the ladder. Where's the ladder?
Puts you.
Okay.
So like, there's a port there, and there's a.
Okay, 25
so
feet
it's
gets
right
me
over
to
there.
this port.
I think it's reasonable to say that a person's blood can fit within a 5-foot cube. That sounds right to me.
If
Wait,
it's good
I mean,
enough
a
for
person can
Katara,
fit a 5-foot cube, so yes.
Okay.
it's good enough for Katara. It's good enough for.
So
Ssah'ra.
you shape the blood on the ground and you get it into this like weird blob, and then you slither your way up the ladder and you throw it out through the ore port. Is that what happens?
As far as she can, yes. As far as she can throw it with a 25 strength.
Well, it says you can animate it and move it around. So
Okay.
I don't see any reason why you can't just animate it out the.
Yeah. It's gonna be a blood shaper. She's a blood bender.
You can instantaneously move or change the flow of water as you direct up to 5 feet in any direction. So you're just making it flow up the stairs, I guess? Up the ladder?
However you want to envision it, yeah.
I think
the-
it might make the most sense to use it to freeze the blood and then carry it out.
Could do that
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So I think the flowing is only 5 feet per action.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It does say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. You can congeal it together, freeze the liquid in the blood, which makes this weird slushy concoction that you now have to carry up the stairs, and then you can squeeze it out through the ore port.
She throws out her blood icy.
Oh no, that
Gary
flavor
is
is
standing
not
there. He shakes it.
popular.
I just cleaned all those ore ports. Is that it for Ssah'ra?
That took her. It takes her action to do that, right?
Yeah, they used the cantrip.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you used your bonus action to get that speed up there.
Well, I don't need the bonus action to actually get that speed up there.
Okay.
But I will need the bonus action to get it back. So. Yeah, she'll keep that bonus action, then she'll come back.
All right. Who's next?
After Ssah'ra, it is Zeral, followed by Green.
All right.
Is Raleigh going to
we
no scope
have-
my monster in one turn?
I could do that. But we do have our sacrifice to consider.
Oh yeah, if this elf guy dies in this combat, then
You just go get another one.
wow.
It's an infinite supply of elves.
He's an elf too, which means he's resistant or he's immune to charm. Yes.
So what is the Dragon Man doing?
Elves are immune to charm, aren't they?
No.
Oh, they
no,
aren't?
just Benedict.
Oh.
It's his paladin ability.
Some
Okay.
of them are some of them have advantage to against the charm effect, but
Yeah.
I don't know if what particular elf.
Yeah, I'm
he
going to
is.
cast Charm Person on Mr. Elf Lord.
It's a 9 on the save.
Okay, then I'm going to insist that he come with me to get out of the way of and let these fine folks take care of the.
If he moves from that spot, he's
The
leaving a
awfulness.
threat range. He's inclined to go with you, but he is standing within 5 feet of the villain.
Okay then.
Just be aware.
I mean, just tell him to disengage and come over there.
Yeah.
His turn's next, so.
Yeah.
As you head back to the cargo hold.
Yeah.
Okay. Doing
Ushering him.
doing anything else back
Planning
there?
to usher him through this door. Nope.
Okay. And then it's green next. Is that correct?
Yeah.
At which point he will follow orders, disengage, and come over to the door.
Zeral ushers him through.
Okay. Who's next?
After green, it is Benny, followed by Sahn. Sahn, you rolled really bad.
I think I rolled a 3, maybe.
Benny, are you going to no-scope my monster in one turn?
I hope so.
Remember, turn 360 degrees before you do it.
That's a crit.
No scope 360.
All right.
Do you
How many
need
do I
any of your
get?
spell slots for anything today?
No. Which is why we're using them for this.
'Cause we're
Okay.
still a day out, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's the physical damage. That's the blue one. And
Yep.
then I get.
Let's open up calc.exe because I think the numbers are going
Yeah,
to get pretty big here.
I forget that I have 2 of these. Okay. So there's my sword.
Mhm.
And. Here's the smite. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Tabletop. Oh. Let me get them out of the box. So hold on. Is that 10?
My God, that's a lot of dice.
That looks like 10. Yeah, 14d6. If I had thought to use a bonus action, I could make this 22d6. Okay, so I've got 12 slashing, 46 radiant.
It's for a total of...
Oh, dice Y. Hold on. 58.
58. Big boy hit.
And they say if you want to roll the dice, you play a rogue.
Benny's like, wow, I guess I am still a good paladin.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'll
Nerium,
attack
for the
again.
pep talk.
That's a 1.
One's not going to hit, no.
1 hit. I mean, it's the law of averages, right? One side of the dice and the other. But I do Benny will interpose himself between the creature and the elf.
Okay.
That's it.
Who's next?
After Benny, it is the creature.
The creature.
Oh, what about Sahn?
Oh, Sahn, and then the creature. Sorry. I'm not used to Sahn being all the way down at the bottom.
All right, so we're trying to protect this elf. That's the goal right now.
Yeah, if the elf
Either
dies,
way.
this was all pointless.
And Sahn is asking Nerium that all over the mind. Like, Sahn moves around the creature to here, and then he will manifest control air
Okay.
to create a channel of wind to blow the creature back.
Back towards Ssah'ra.
Yeah, Ssah'ra's in this too. It's a 10-foot. This is a gust of wind, so it's a 10-foot wide.
Well, there's
line
nowhere for
between
Ssah'ra to be
yeah.
blown, so like this could happen. Is that the...
Well, I think it gets a save at this point. Let me double check how this works. Oh yeah, it needs a strength save. And Ssah'ra, I also need a strength save.
That's a 9 on the save.
All right, it gets pushed back 15 feet, and if it wants to move towards me, it has to spend 2 feet of movement for every 1 foot that it moves.
Okay.
And that's
Does
the
it
end
do a
of
void?
Sahn's turn.
This is to avoid being pushed.
I mean, you got nowhere to go, so.
There's nowhere for Ssah'ra to be pushed.
I don't think you can fail a DC
Yeah.
17 strength save anyway.
Well, I can't. If I roll a 2, I can.
Okay.
But I'll choose to fail it so I get blown back with the creature.
That's my turn.
All right.
So now it's Nerium's turn. What about the girl's body? Is it still there?
Yes. It's Nerium's
Okay.
turn. What about my monster?
No, the monster goes for near.
No. I'm skipping the monster.
Oh, okay.
No, it's the monster then Nerium's turn. Sorry.
Benny, what's your charisma score?
20.
I don't like being in this position. I don't think I can hit either of you. And sorry, you have what weapon equipped at the moment?
It'd be a polearm.
Okay, so I can safely make this move by using 10 feet of movement.
Yeah.
Benny
Wait, can you do that? Oh, it's 10 feet. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think Sentinel, so.
Yeah.
not leaving Ssah'ra's threat range.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to do some damage this combat.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Benny.
Yep.
I have a 20 to hit.
No.
Benny. I have a 10 to hit.
No.
I'm sorry. It's less than 20, whatever. And I need a Constitution saving throw, please.
I'm glad I got that thing from Double L because it's a lot higher now. 20.
20. It tries to lash out at you with these clumsy, liquidy arms. It's starting to resemble like the T-1000, but with blood. Clumsily misses you. Can't get a good hold on you. But then you feel the same thing Sahn felt. You feel all the blood in your body start to pulse, give you this terrible headache, and you start feeling a leak from your tear ducts, the sides of your mouth, welling up under your tongue. You're just bleeding from every hole in your body.
Is this a disease?
No, it's just blood stuff.
Some might call those one and the same.
This is where Genie's blood went. Got you.
But that's it. That's all the creature can do. Who's next?
Now it's Nerium's turn.
Sure.
Nerium is going to.
Is it bad that I wanted Benedict to get hit?
I also
Yeah.
wanted Benedict to get hit, because if this thing lands a hit, it's got a really cool attack that I'm desperately trying to make happen. Like, I really want it.
Should have hit Nerium.
Well,
Yeah.
there were supposed to be multiple creatures in the combat, but you guys threw all my blood off the boat. So now what do I do?
Okay. Well,
Die mad about it.
I need an intelligence saving throw from the creature.
Yeah,
Let's see.
that's a 13 on the int save.
Okay. So that would be 7. 8. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know why like one dice always goes. That's the party die. 25 psychic damage, and it's incapacitated till this. It's incapacitated until. Start of my next turn.
Okay. And the
That's
thing is
25
now
damage.
metaphorically as well as literally bloodied.
Mm-hmm. Bonus action. Where's the body?
Just laying on the ground.
It's in this.
Yeah,
it's in this. Yeah, it's kind of over here somewhere.
Sure.
Bonus action. Raw. You get another bard die,
Okay.
and then Nerium's gonna hold open the bag of holding and say, "Somebody shove the corpse in here."
What's next?
After Ssah'ra, it is the corpse.
Well, do I get to go?
No, you're after the
You're
corpse.
next.
Rickroad
Okay.
wanted the corpse left on the thing, so the corpse is next.
The corpse takes its turn.
Okay. All right. After the corpse, it's Ssah'ra.
Okay. Let's slashy the blood creature.
All right.
First attack. It's gonna be a 19.
19 will hit.
It's gonna be 21 points of magical slashing
Very good.
plus 5 points of magical force, and I need a DC 17 saving throw where it's not prone.
It's a strength save.
Yeah, strength
That's
save.
a 23 on the save.
That passes that.
Mm-hmm.
Second attack. Was that 13 hit by chance?
13 does not hit.
Next stack. That's a 28.
28 will hit.
It's going to be 29 points of magical slashing.
Okay. Very good.
Is it alive?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Move in for the butt against all better judgment.
Get that butt.
It's going to be 17.
17 will hit.
It's going to be, sorry, can't do math, 20 points of magical bludgeoning.
And 20 points is enough
Oh, I don't have the action surge, yay.
to end the creature. Well, there were supposed to be multiple creatures, but you guys steal my blood away.
And then Ssah'ra will freeze the corpse.
Do it again.
It's no fun when somebody steals your blood, is it?
It's not.
I tell that to every nurse that draws my blood.
Listen to this attack that I didn't get to use. The creature peels the face off one grappled foe.
Oh,
The target makes a dexterity saving throw. If the target fails, the face is torn off.
What?
The target takes 8d6 plus 10 slashing damage and is stunned until the start of the creature's next turn.
I'm stunned just listening to that description.
We have regenerate.
That's awesome, right?
No.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
it gets
that's
better.
funny.
It gets better. The peeled off face is a tiny animated object under the creature's control. It
Lovely.
retains the former owner's memories and personality.
Oh, God.
Wow.
that's lovely.
Yeah.
I'm glad we avoided that.
Now,
It's like a Tome of Beasts monster or something.
oh, of course, yes. This monster will definitely be making an appearance in the next campaign. I'm bringing this one back. I'm getting somebody's face.
Oh, yeah. I know you want to get someone's face.
Quickly, I guess we,
Dispose of the bodies.
yeah, we just shove. That's what bags of holding are for.
Okay.
We can chuck them overboard.
Not right in here in this hold.
Take it upstairs.
The
We don't wanna be
brother,
well,
just to wrap things up real quickly here. My good friend here, Lord Elrondor, immediately breaks down, begs your forgiveness for hiding the ailment his sister had, because he was afraid that if you learned that she had previously had an altercation with one of the undead, you would not teleport her away as promised. Which is exactly what happened, and then you almost had a zombie apocalypse on the ship.
Benny will, without consent, make sure that this guy is not diseased by lay on hands, remove disease.
No, he very quickly subjects to anything. He just doesn't want to be thrown overboard, and he beseeches you if you have a way to. Because he's in the background, Ssah'ra and Nerium are like shoving his sister's body into this bag.
Yeah.
And he beseeches if you can do anything to save his sister.
At that point, Benedict will turn around and see that there isn't even a corpse there, I guess, and go, no.
do not worry, sir. We promise you we are not going to throw you overboard. And we will, when we're done with our business on land, we will have a conversation about what we're going to do with your sister. Do not worry.
That's a lie of omission.
Mm-hmm.
Benny's gonna look at this guy and actually say, like, with gritted teeth, like, you nearly doomed us all.
Don't worry about it, Benny.
I mean, you're blaming him, but really it was Nerium and Ssah'ra.
Oh, I don't blame Nerium at all, because I don't know the plan.
So,
As far as I'm aware, this guy has lost all credibility and judgment. In Benedict's judgment, like, he should smite him just to be sure, but he's not going to. Because he can't bring
regrettably,
himself to do
I
it.
do have to wind things down now. Peanut and I have a thing we need to get to tonight. So
Okay.
we're going
Thing.
to, this is an excellent place to pause, because as soon as we come back in the next scene, we can jump into the Cliffs of Glass dungeon, which I had no idea what destination we were going to be picking to place this dungeon, so I have a week to design a great dungeon for you guys. A passable dungeon. Let's aim for like a C+ dungeon, all right?
Yeah.
Solid dungeon.
You're not trying to get into the Dungeoneers Guild. That's Sahn.
Yeah, it's Sahn's job.
I saw a YouTube video got wrecked to me this. I haven't watched it yet. I kind of want to, talking about like the implied setting of Dungeons and Dragons, like all the ancient ruins and stuff, and what all that implies. Because I have been thinking about that a lot. This whole campaign with this like silly dungeoneering guild idea, like behind the curtains, these people go from world to world setting up the dungeons for people. I don't know. The idea just tickled me. Anyway, I'm gonna go dark for 2 minutes. And when I come back, we can do some blips. This will be Zeral's first time doing blips.
Yay!
Yay!
Who was most creative today?
Uh,
Blood Ball?
oh yeah, yeah.
I
yeah.
really liked that. That was really good.
Yeah, shaping
Yeah,
water
'cause
to blood
So,
ball.
Ssah'ra,
blood bending. Yep.
blood.
Who furthered the party's goals the most today?
I want to nominate Nerium for getting Benny out of his funk.
I
I'm
would
okay with
just
that.
say
I'm
I
gonna
got
get
us.
Nerium to teleport.
I just would say I got us an elf. We needed an elf. I provided an elf.
Did we?
Yeah.
He gets the party an elf and saves the other elf. Which one's which? That's left as an exercise for the viewer.
Who's a badass?
Let's see. Oh,
Benny for the smite?
yeah, that was.
That was a really big smite.
Well, when you roll a 20, I mean,
You go big or go home, exactly.
Yep.
And who's intangible today?
I would like to give that one to Sahn for just his total like blasé attitude about everything that's been going on this session. Like, what do you mean you're going to do light kidnapping? Is it dangerous? All right. Did we really need an elf? It tickles me. Sorry.
That's fine.
All right. Yeah, I had you guys fighting 3 of those blood monsters, but
Oh, we could have lost 3 faces.
those are tough creatures if you got several of them peeling your faces off. They do other crazy stuff too. It's fun.
Does that make you blind if you lose your face? Like, how does that work?
So
no, your eyes are not your face.
the blood attack that you guys kept saving against, that's separate from the face peeling attack. But if you fail that, you suffer effects. Like your heart starts hammering so hard it deafens you, and like blood fills your eyes to the point where you can't see, so you're blinded. Yeah, they're gross monsters, and I love them very much. And I feel like using them in a zombie apocalypse would be great. This is the second campaign where a zombie apocalypse has happened off screen.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
So, I guess you might choose not to answer this. Is that something you had in your notes that off screen, or is it just that something you just decided on a whim?
So the way I planned this is I designed Ssah'ra's ritual, and I'm like, I'm gonna give them a couple of solved problems, and then give them one problem that just they'll solve on their own. In this case, you needed to slay an elf. You needed to go find an elf to slay. I figured you guys will figure that out, and then whatever you decide to collect this elf was going to lead to this encounter with the blood creatures. So I knew you were going to get a hold of a pair of elves, and one of them was going to disintegrate into blood monsters.
Makes sense.
And then once you said, hey, we're going to Melvin Ponce, I thought, hey, let's destroy Melvin Ponce in a zombie apocalypse.
Fine. We've basically been talking the entire campaign about how much Melvin Ponce actually kind of sucks, so that's fine.
Now
it's probably better now.
Don't dead open inside.
No,
it's the
zombies
quantum
don't
blood
suck
monsters.
blood. But you just chomp it. It chomps.
The quantum blood monsters. We were always going to face the quantum blood monsters. It's just a matter of how we as players got to that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Quantum blood monsters is, I think, a villain in one of the Alan Wake games.
Zeral, do you want to do the honors and do blips first with your new alignment, ideal, and flaw?
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Okay.
I have my alignment, lawful evil. Thy wish is my suggestion for actually that my brain just completely vanished. It new character. Gotta get a feel for the guy.
New PC who dis.
New PC who is. Ideals. A broken tool can be mended for helping Benedict on his road to recovery.
So Benedict is a tool that needs to be mended?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
By various definitions of tool.
Wow.
Now, Zeral's flaw is very
I'm
interesting.
saying what we're all thinking.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Soral,
share Zeral's
Flaw
flaw
is-
with us?
Sahn has released me, and I must obey their command. And that is because of a that is because of a something similar to the Gesh that is that like as a part of what has like put it what the whole thing that put him in the flash to begin with. Like that was just a prank on the back end. Like I know this guy's gonna get out of this thing eventually, so let's just pull another prank on him when he gets out.
So we're claiming a
Where
blip
you-
for Sahn has released me and I must obey their command.
Yeah, so every time Sahn asked him a question, he was bound to answer.
Okay. Sahn, this is a big responsibility having a pet dragonborn.
Yeah, it is.
You need to give him
I'm
food
jealous.
and
Promise
water.
to feed it.
Yeah. Don't let him out after midnight.
Then there's all the
That's how you
dragon
get-
belly
that's how you get
rubs.
blood golems.
Does anybody else want to take a swing at some blips?
I can go.
Yeah.
Either everybody talk at once. Let's do Nerium first.
All right. We've got. Let's see. Neutral evil. Everything is for my own amusement. For looking at the food Benny was serving, going, no, this has to stop, and then going to him and says, listen, my guy, you are a great paladin. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. Just because what you were supposed to do was not what you wanted doesn't mean you're not a good paladin. Please make roast beef for dinner.
Please make better food.
Yes.
In conclusion, your cooking sucks.
My ideals, rule 17, confidence is key. Yeah, why don't we just oh, you need an elf? I know where we can get a couple of I know where there's some of those are. We can go
Free
get some.
elves on tap.
Yeah, there's an infinite number of elves out there, like the multiverse. Like the multiverse exists. We could just pop in anywhere and grab some elves.
Sure.
Flaw, there's no situation you cannot get out of without a bigger lie. For intentionally pissing off tenacity, which is probably not a good idea
Probably not.
in the best situation, to kind of obfuscate the fact that there's a plot afoot.
Okay.
Well, Benedict is the one who's going to get punished for it because I think this definitely qualifies as shenanigans.
Oh, there are shenanigans.
The shenanigans ship has sailed.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry.
pretty sure.
I can't tongue twister.
Ssah'ra, did you have blips you wanted to claim?
I do. Alignment, neutral evil by any means necessary. That would be throwing the ball of blood overboard to prevent carnage.
Fair enough.
Ideal, the anti-empire must rise from the ashes for pursuing the ritual even after she knows that it has to sacrifice an elf and it might be Benny.
Okay.
And then flaws, people are means to power. That would be thinking Nerium's idea to teleport to Melvin Ponce and kidnap elves was a great idea.
It was a great idea. It worked flawlessly.
It was.
And you guys got to see Melvin Ponce, which is like, it's really pretty this time of year.
Yeah,
We
what
got
was
to
it
see
like?
the zombie apocalypse that we missed in Ravenloft.
We're like just running from zombie mobs and like we're like tripping random civilians to like so the mobs of zombies won't get onto us.
Sahn,
Like,
would
we
you like
gotta
to claim
find
any
some
blips?
elves.
I'll go for it. Yeah. I'll go backwards here. Flaw, no time to waste. For reaffirming his vow with the help of Nerium in time to prevent everyone from mutinying over conjured food.
Okay.
Deal. Do it for him. Do it for the rest of your crew too. For tending the noble lady's injuries, or at least trying to.
Okay.
And then alignment, neutral, good. Go buy the book. If that doesn't work, go with your heart. For clinging to the only strand of hope that he has left. Save the world and hopefully save Nazirr.
And what does Sahn have for me?
So I've got Sahn's alignment, lawful, neutral. Each works together for the good of all. For going right back to work, starting repairing the ship after the failed awakening ritual.
You did that immediately after the binding ritual.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got his ideal, exceed all expectations for blowing the blood golem away from the elf we're trying to protect.
Okay.
And I've got his flaw, well, that's democracy for you, for voting to open the bottle.
All right. which only led to terrible things. Who had the most creative solution to a problem this session?
Well, we said Ssah'ra, bloodbending to great effect.
Okay. I feel like you can't rule against that use of shape water, specifically because we've all seen that cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
Who did the most to further the party's goals this week?
Nerium procured an elf and saved another.
Procured an elf. I want to remain on record that this is like the most evil plan that's ever been concocted at one of my D&D tables. Like even in Ravenloft, you guys didn't stoop this low, did you?
No.
Yeah.
Well,
it's-
there was that one time we kidnapped a lady and ran her out of town.
It's not quite the same.
I mean, we didn't sacrifice her at the end of it, but like,
We only black bagged her and then kicked her out of town.
Hey, to be fair, we're working with the tools you gave us, and one of those was ritual sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like, this is your own fault.
No, this is definitely the most evil party I think I've ever run at D&D. Like, just in terms of alignment. Just in terms of character alignment, I've got mostly evil here. Who is the
Listen,
badass
it's
this
not
week?
my fault. Lawful evil is the most fun alignment.
I agree. I think it's a very... Tenacity's lawful evil. My first 5th edition character ever. Who is the badass this week?
We said Benedict for smiting the shit out of Blood Golem.
That's a
And
lot of damage.
who was intangible?
Sahn's
was-
attitude was literally intangible.
like he was just like, what are you doing? No,
All right.
stop.
Oh no, sacrifice, stop.
And Nazirr gets nothing because Nazirr is dead as far as anyone knows.
Yeah.
All right. So, Sahn,
I
you
got
had
Zahn.
4 blips and earned 4. So you can roll
Yep.
over. Let's look up. Blips are currently worth 666. So you can roll over 2. Come in next week with 6. Benny, you had 6 and earned 4.
Yeah.
Ssah'ra, you had 6 and earned 4. Nerium, you had 4 and earned 4. So you're rolling over 2. And Zeral had nothing and earned 2. So you're coming in next week with 2.
How much XP do we get for the blood thing?
That's an excellent question. And I should answer that because you definitely did kill the blood thing.
I was like,
I mean-
did I not write this down? Because I had a blank.
Sorry about that. 1,440 experience points for the blood creature. That might,
1440?
1440. That might seem like a lot for a creature that literally didn't damage anybody, but I assure you, if you had fought 3 of them like I first
If they
anticipated,
had gotten,
and next
a turn.
next D&D campaign, I'm going to get somebody's face. Watch if I don't.
But I would like to make the argument that we get so if a live emission, right,
Mhm.
is still a lie, then a combat of emission that we prevented, we should get the full
did
experience.
kill the second one before it formed.
Okay. So what I want you to do is write me up a detailed request, submit it to me in triplicate, and I'll wipe my butt with it. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, gotcha.
Gotcha.
Well, he submitted the combat and the experience.
So we do have to wrap things up a little early this week, guys, but thanks so much for playing. We will have the
Thank you for running.
an obsidian dungeon with at least one incredibly evil blood sacrifice in the middle of it.
Yes. And it's all going to be for Gore-Tex socks.